everyone, and happy Father's Day. Thank you for joining us here on the USPBL network alongside Jason Ross Jr. I'm Jenna Rose, here to bring you the pregame report heading into this matchup between the Eastside and Birmingham. Along with that, Jason, it's Father's Day, as we mentioned before. Be sure to use the hashtag USPBLDads so that you and your dads can get on the big screen here at Jimmy John's Field. It's going to be a major sellout today, Jay.
Oh yeah, packed house last night on a Saturday night, expecting another sellout today, so it should be a lot of fun. The pitching matchup features two right-handers. On the east side of things, we have Andrew Verbrugge, the 23-year-old native of Grand Rapids, Michigan, who features a four-seam curve slider change mix. So far, Verbrugge is 0-1, still in search of his first professional win at the USPBL level with a 3.82 ERA through his first couple of starts. We'll see if he can kind of rediscover his control, Jen, today. At least three walks through his first three starts, so looking to see if he can maybe tidy things up, establish the fastball early, and had the breaking pitches play off of that. So hoping to see, again, Verbrugge, who has a lot of potential, excellent career at Hillsdale College, find his first professional win today.
And on the Beavers side of things, right-hander Cole Gidley is going to take the mound, very similar to Verbrugge, Jason, where he's looking to find his control. During Gidley's last outing, he walked 5 batters through 2 1/3 innings pitched, so control is going to be key in his arsenal. You're typically going to see the use of his two-seamer, his curveball, and his changeup, with that changeup being his main put-away pitch, using that about 50% of the time. This is going to be Gidley's second start, and it's his first year in the USPBL, so he definitely has displayed that. He has the velocity and that he has the potential to make it in the big leagues. So again, it's just kind of discovering that groove and being able to hone in on that control. But Jason, we do have to talk about left-hander Glenn Lokinen.
Yeah, well, Lokinen last night on the side of the Woolly Mammoths had a bit of a frustrating start to his day. Initially thought he was going to be starting what was supposed to be game 2 of a 6-inning doubleheader between the Woolly Mammoths and the Unicorns. However, a rain delay made it one 9-inning game, so Lokinen found out he was coming out of the pen instead of starting. However, I spoke to Greg earlier prior to the game yesterday, and he told me that the mentality doesn't change whether it's coming out of the bullpen or if it's starting. He said either way, it's throwing strikes and throwing as hard as possible, which is exactly what he did throughout the course of 3 very clean innings of work out of the bullpen yesterday for the Woolly Mammoths. Struck out 9, Jen, throughout the course of 3 innings. Nearly had an immaculate inning in the 5th. Came up 1 pitch shy of the immaculate inning with 10 pitches in that 5th yesterday, but was super clean, established his fastball early. The changeup has been very effective as well. Luukkonen told me that, one of his goals this season, is to have more strikeouts than innings pitched. So far, he's at 19 strikeouts through 8 innings pitched after adding 9 onto his total on Saturday. So a lot of potential moving forward for the lefty Greg Luukkonen. And then, Jenna, to move over now to the Beavers side of things today, they've had good pitching, but just not much run support to back it up.
Yeah, they're definitely lacking that run support. They have the lowest ERA in the league so far this season, but specifically what we've seen so far is they've stranded runners on base. They haven't been able to produce with runners in scoring position. During Friday's game, they left 14 runners on base, hitting .078 with runners on base. So that's something that they need to build on. They're lacking in a lot of offensive categories, but what's so insane is that they definitely do have that extra base power. They do lead the league in home runs and doubles, so that we know that the power is there. It's just capitalizing and being able to put the ball in play in those high-pressure situations.
Oh, yeah, we'll see if they can do it today against an Eastside team as we delve into the lineups now that features McConnell in the leadoff spot and playing in right field. Juan Lopez Rios will bat second and play at shortstop. Pedro Castellano will bat third and play second base. Jason Aponte in the cleanup spot today. He had a good night the other day playing in center field, batting fourth. Greg Vaughn Jr. will bat fifth and do the DH role. Nick Kreutzer will play first base and bat sixth. Into the bottom third now, Christian De Los Santos batting seventh and playing at third base. Gunnar Rainey will play in left field and bat eighth. And in ninth, rounding out the lineup and doing the catching, is Felix Adarutz.
Hitting for the Beavers today will be Ron Williams Jr. in the leadoff position. He will be playing third base. In the second spot will be Roy Verdejo out in left field. Batting in the 3-hole will be Travis McFarland out at first base. And hitting cleanup will be Christian LeBoy out in right field. Playing shortstop will be Keyshawn Lynch batting fifth. Batting sixth will be Binder, one of the newer faces in the league. He'll be out in center field. Manning second base will be Nefi Mercedes, batting seventh. And batting eighth will be Collier Rutledge. He will be our designated hitter for the day. And Austin Shoemaker rounds out the lineup in the catching position. So again, happy Father's Day to all of our dads watching. We'd love to see you come here and join us at the park. And hey, we'll see you for the game tonight.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
As we prepare for another game here today, take a look at our sponsors for today's broadcast. AAA, Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, still very low, McLaren Macomb, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this fine league as well. Time for our keys to the game. Jason, what do you think today?
Yeah, well, Jeremy, when you look at the pitching matchup, we have two right-handers squaring off. Andrew Verbrugge on the east side of things, a guy who's still trying to kind of find his footing a bit, but a guy with a lot of potential, top 5 in multiple historical categories at Hillsdale College, and features the four-seam, the curve, the slider, the change as well. So we'll see if he can kind of get on track today, the 23-year-old from West Michigan. And then on the side of the Beavers today, we'll feature Cole Gidley, a guy who is making his second start of the season, first-year USPBL player, just like Verbrugge, two-seam curve changeup mix. Changeup is kind of the put-away pitch 50% of the time. So for the Beavers, on the flip side of that, keys to the game, when you think about it, offense is where you're trying to manufacture something production-wise after being shut out a couple of days ago. They've put traffic on the base path. That hasn't really been the issue. Left 14 on base the other day. However, it's capitalizing. 0.78 is the batting average right now with runners in scoring positions. That's something I'm looking for out of the Beavers.
Father's Day here today. Should be a good crowd from what we're hearing just from a ticket sold standpoint, and that's always, kind of a question mark until people actually show up. But tickets sold, this should be one of the better days crowd-wise. We've started to see the crowds get bigger and bigger over the last week or so, which is cool to see. And again, if you are wanting to catch a USPBL game, tickets aren't all sold out. You can visit USPBL.com to pick up yours today, or certainly get some on the box office on the day of the game overall. Any Father's Day traditions for your family?
Not too many that I can think of at the moment. Maybe watching a game or something along those lines. How about you?
Not really. No, I think being here at the ballpark is pretty fitting. I was able to catch up with my dad before the game here today, get a little picture on the field, so that was cool. Always cool to have surrounding family around you on holidays like this, but you're seeing a lot of kids in the ballpark when you walk around, a lot of little ones,
exactly.
Kind of teeter-tottering around, so that's always cool to see. Not unnormal, certainly, here at the USPBL. I'm sure running the bases will be another big ordeal here today. You see those flood of kids just streaming out of the field. Always cool to see how many there actually are here in the ballpark.
Yeah, we were just down by the wiffle ball field and the speed pitch area, and there were a lot of kids over there, and it looks like a lot of fun, having a blast, and a lot of families in attendance. Expected to be a sellout. Packed house last night, by the way. It was really rowdy atmosphere last night, maybe more so than any other game I've experienced so far, and hoping to back that up today on Sunday.
And we should be clear of weather, at least during the game here today. Another hot and muggy day. It looks like the thunderstorms and possible severe weather will be coming later, possibly here at the ballpark. But overall, it should be another nice day for baseball as these two teams do battle on the USPBL Network. First pitch is next.
about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Jeremy and Jason back with you here today. 80 degrees at game time, 65% humidity. That sounds about right from what it feels like outside here today. And Cole Gidley taking the hill for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers here today. 6'5", 195-pound righty, 21-year-old native of Michigan, spent 1 year at Mott Community College and was a tryout guy this year. And that's something to look out for, Jason, because there's probably some guys, on the line in terms of who's staying, who's leaving. There's a tryout today at 4:30, and it continues tomorrow, again, the college showcase. So everybody wants to perform at tip-top shape here today just to make sure they stay.
Yeah, I heard there are a number of guys trying out later in the 20 range. And, again, I guess at any level of baseball, any level of athletics in general, maybe you kind of feel always the pressure of someone behind you. And is there another pitcher that could fill your role or not fill your role? That's to be determined, but you can still control your own destiny by way of having success on the mound. So perhaps something that's I don't think you want to think about that while you're out there on the field, let it clog up your mind. But motivation at any level, I think any athlete has that in the back of their mind.
Gidley with his second start here today. His first 2 outings of the year were in relief, but this is no surprise to him that he's back in a starting role. Pretty much been there all his life with the exception of a few times. Check the defense behind Cole Gidley here today, sponsored by AAA. It's Roy Verdejo in left. Dallas Binder is in center field. Christian LeBoy in right. Ron Williams Jr. and Travis McFarland on the corners here today. Nafi Mercedes and Keyshawn Lynch back up the middle. And Austin Shoemaker going to heave that one down to second base to end the warm-up. He completes the battery here today. Some billowy clouds in the sky to start this game here today. Not the kind of clouds that you were seeing yesterday, I'm sure. Did it ever really pour down?
It did a couple of times. Once it really opened up, and then we took the tarp off, opened right back up.
First pitch at 105, right on time, delivered in for strike one. It's the fastball at 89.
But, Jeremy, you are back, so the bubble has returned.
Yes.
We can't be penetrated by rain anymore.
How dare you burst that bubble?
I know, our bubble.
But it didn't get canceled. Here's the 0-1 pitch outside. So, in a sense, it still continues because I believe, if people in the past have told me right, obviously I haven't been here ever since we started, but supposedly only 3 rainouts in total, not delays, since we have started USPBL baseball now going on, 6.5 or 5.5 years, I should say. Fastball inside at 90 to Ben McConnell.
McConnell's a guy with quick hands. They like his bat. Again, when we spoke to people earlier in the week about him, said they were still looking to see a little more, 8 to 10 at-bats. So maybe a bit more of a sample size here.
2-1 is lifted foul. And it is, around that time, at least for the guys who have been here from the start, and you look at this lineup, Greg Vaughn Jr., a returner from last year, Jason Aponte, Juan Lopez Rios, Christian De Los Santos, they're all in the 25 to 30 at-bat range right now. Here's the 2-2, low and in. That is kind of where you can evaluate. I mean, you're not going to get a full picture. I mean, you look at Major League Baseball, we're talking 100 at-bats, 200 at-bats before they really, start to dissect you. But, in a league where you're not going to play every day, you're not going to get maybe 100 bats in a season. Here's the 3-2, just chiseled to Nafi Mercedes. Tough play for him, not going to be able to get it. Probably going to be ruled an infield single here in the first inning. But in the end, the 25 to 30 is probably a good range along with all these coaches. I mean, they'll look at these guys in practice, obviously, as well before the game starts because there's not other games going on normally when teams are practicing unless you don't have a game. But they are starting to formulate. Is this a guy we're going to keep and we think we can further develop, or is this a guy who maybe, is kind of on the fringe of a roster marker here, which is certainly important to think about because of this tryout happening today and tomorrow. Swing and a miss. At least talking earlier in the week, it sounded like there was a few more position guys in those tryouts scheduled to come in, so that's important to know. And in general, they'll maybe take a little longer look at the pitchers because of the DVS and all the tweaks that they can make. But as we've kind of talked about it, McConnell with another swipe of a bag here. We've seen a good amount of those as well in the league. The 33rd of the season already. But in general, the big thing is a guy going to listen to the DVS tweaks, or is he going to listen to the coaching staff? Because that also can be an indicator. Are they somebody who's going to be workable, coachable going forward? Because I guess it makes no sense to try to put them through that if they're not going to believe you in what you're saying.
A key part of this league certainly is the coaching, the learning, the soaking in of information. Speaking with Doug Martin of player development yesterday.
Here's the 2-1 off the plate.
He kind of noted that most of the guys who come through this league have some sort of adjustment that needs to be made, whether that's fielding, whether it's offensively, or if it's from a pitching standpoint. And that's what you come here for. And as you mentioned, it's all about getting the reps. But there is a fine line and a balance between instincts and being coachable, and you need to be coachable.
Here's the 3-1. Chase the fastball away at 88. Slight breeze blowing out to right center field here today, according to the American flag. The pennants doing the same. 5 miles an hour according to the forecast here today. McConnell on second base. He reached what feels like a long time ago in a single. Full count delivery, slapped in no man's land, and that will be how this first inning starts for Cole Gidley. 2 soft contact plays. Unfortunately for him, not at anybody really each time.
Runners on the corners now. Lopez Rios is a guy with a really good barrel control through the zone. Found a pitch kind of over the heart of the plate there and drove it to the gap in right center.
And we talked about it briefly on Friday when these two teams met up. But if Ben McConnell does what Ben McConnell, we think Ben McConnell can do in this league, and if Juan Lopez Rios continues to do what he does, that's going to be a fun 1-2 punch to look at here in this Hoppers lineup. This is also a guy that they're intrigued to see some at-bats from, Pedro Castellano. You look at Jason Aponte. He has some speed. So does Greg Vaughn Jr. hitting 5th here today. So this is kind of a lineup that might run more often than not, leading the league in stolen bases with 13. 0-1 again, pumped backwards. And you can believe that, at least grandstands-wise, this is probably one of the better crowds we've seen so far.
It's filling in nicely. Beautiful warm day in Utica.
We are playing 7 innings here today. 7 innings on Sunday is what the plan will be. Here's the 0-2. Popped him up. to the short outfield. Binder coming in on that for the first out here.
Next up, the center fielder, number 24, Jason Aponte.
Now Jason Aponte, we talked about his speed. He's already has 5 stolen bases on this young season. Five of the now 13 after the swipe by Ben McConnell of second base. Big swing and a miss at the off speed, the changeup there.
I really like Aponte's bat. I spoke with Jason a couple of days ago. He was our player of the game after the Hoppers defeated the Beavers 3-0 on Friday night. Really good approach, really good technique within his swing, and hoping to find a way to capitalize here with a runner in scoring position in less than 2 outs. That last fly ball just wasn't quite deep enough.
0-1 on Aponte. Runner in motion to second base. Ooh, looked like a hit and run to try to get things moving here in the first. And wow, that's catcher's interference against Austin Shoemaker, so that's going to load the bases here in the first inning. We saw runner interference earlier. Now Greg Vaughn Jr. trying to drive in some runs. Just 2 RBIs this year. Has evened out his walks, 7 walks to 7 strikeouts. As that fly is out of play.
Yeah, perhaps a piece of the glove of Shoemaker may have caught some of the bat on the follow-through of the swing there from Aponte. Gidley trying to work out of a jam here.
.10, lifted foul. Walk percentage in the USPBL this year is decent, but the strikeout percentage still probably higher than the league would like to see, 24%. Beavers have had a trouble with that early on. They're at 32% coming into play here today. But this is a guy you want at the plate in this situation. He's not going to force it. He can draw your walk, but he can also potentially drive in all of these runs right now.
He won't beat himself. Greg Vaughn Jr. will make you beat him. And on the flip side of that, when you think about Gidley, something that Jenna pointed out in our pregame show earlier today is the control issues at the moment for Gidley. In his last start, he walked 5. So really hoping to tidy things up there from a control standpoint.
The 2-1. Good block by Austin Shoemaker there. And now Greg Vaughn Jr. is ahead in the count. Quietly has kind of evened out his batting average as well. He's 6 for 18 coming into play today. Has 2 extra base hit, a double and a home run. McFarland playing in over at first base with this righty at the dish. Just outside. Very close, maybe even a strike on the outside corner, but Ben McConnell is going to be allowed to scamper in, and Ed Campanella will take an early visit to the mound to try to settle down Cole Gidley.
With Nick Kreutzer up to bat, a big power bat with runners in scoring, with bases loaded now. After the walk comes home, we noted the control problems. We're just trying to figure it out and piece together a game plan for working out of this. Limit the damage.
Already a long first inning. 3 arms available here today for the Beavers, so probably good for them that it is just a 7-inning game. Donovan, Cuevas, and Cole Stanton all could see action here today if need be. Here's Nick Kreutzer. Big hearty swing on the changeup. Lifts it foul. This is a bat they really want to get going. 2 for 18. Certainly some power potential in this left-handed bat. The 0-1, roped foul. He's had a few swings just like that lately as well that are close to just kind of looping down the line. Showed some signs that he's not too far away. Now the 0-2, again chopped foul.
Really middle of this order. They all tend to work tough at bats. Kreutcher's a guy with a nice gap-to-gap approach. Simple square stance.
0-2 high.
Good plate discipline.
One and two on Nick. Yep. Chris De Los Santos on deck. 1-2, swing and a miss. Got him on strikes for the second out here in the first inning. And now Chris De Los Santos will be the last chance here in the first inning. They've already scored one run on the walk. That was Greg Vaughn Jr. So single, pop out, catcher's interference, RBI walk by Greg Vaughn Jr., now a strikeout to Kreutzer. Fast or changeup high to De Los Santos, 1-0. Now the 1-0. Fly ball to left field. Roy Verdejo was playing in, has to go way back on this one, and he can't make the catch. Banging up against the wall. One run's already around. Here's the second, and the third piling its way home. It's a bases clearing double for Chris De Los Santos.
That ball really carried to left field. Verdejo kind of ran out of real estate there, contorting his body. Clears the bases, as Jeremy noted. A big four spot now in this first inning for the Diamond Hoppers.
Verdejo, was playing in for most of the at-bats here in the first. He's going to play a couple steps further back. De Los Santos may have just saw a long flyout if he was playing just a couple steps back, as this one is going to escape Austin Shoemaker. De Los Santos shifts to third base. And there is some action in that bullpen now. Cuevas starting to stretch out. Now the 1-0. Lined past the diving glove of Lynch. And now 5-0 here in favor of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
Gunnar Rainey is another one of those guys who we were looking to see a bit of a larger sample size out of. And we talked about the fact that hitting can either be contagious or the other way around. Right now, a trickle-down effect brewing through this Hoppers lineup. 5-0 here.
Felix Abaretz completes the bat-around inning here in the first. 4 for 20 for him so far this year. That's skied over our heads. We say hello to all of you watching on Facebook and YouTube here today. John Willis says, Happy Father's Day to all. Watching in Taylor, Michigan here today. J.D. Shoemaker echoes those sentiments. Here's the 0-1. Outside, he says, it's been a great Father's Day so far, watching Austin play via the stream and watching his brother Aiden pitch in the semifinals of a tournament in Buckeye, Arizona. 1-1 is low, 2-1. Vicky Wade Rutledge says, Happy Father's Day to all baseball dads watching. Go Beavers. You can share your father picks, your barbecue picks, whatever you want to do, however you're celebrating Father's Day, with the hashtag USPBL Dads, and you can see it on the broadcast later. 2-1 chopped into the glove of Gidley. Going to deposit it over to first base, but the damage has been done. Nearly everybody reaches here in the first inning as they bat around. 5 runs for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Great start for them. Time for your sweetheart of the game, presented by Thrifty Florist. Here today, JJ delivering those flowers over to Wendy here today. USPBL fan over there. So we thank Wendy for coming to the game here today. We thank Thrifty Florist for their partnership as well as our sweetheart of the game. Time for Freaky Fast Facts presented by Jimmy John's here today. In 1927, the Tigers' first baseman Johnny Noon made an unassisted triple play. In 1964, the San Francisco Giants beat the New York Mets 8-6 in 23 innings. The game lasted 7 hours and 32 minutes. And in 1983, the 76ers swept the Lakers in 4 games during the 37th NBA championship. That's your Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Facts here today. Frank Mitchell also chiming in from Los Angeles, California, so a bit earlier there. Good morning to you. On the YouTube side, Sarah Klosterman says, amazing day, let's go Beavers. Paige says, go Hoppers here today. Jane Church chimes in as well, along with Al and Joe Gidley. Ron Williams Jr., Roy Verdejo, and Travis McFarland, your Zach Hart Agency 3 men due up here in the bottom of the first inning as they face Andrew Verbrugge here today, Jason.
Yeah, we noted Verbrugge's prolific college career at Hillsdale College, top 5 in multiple categories. And again, still just 23 years of age, 0-1 with a 3.08 ERA through 2 starts so far this year, 3 appearances overall. Features a 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, curveball, and changeup as well, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
So again, USPBL Dad, send us your picture with the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag USPBL Dads. We want to see as many as we can here today. Picture of you and your dad, you and your child maybe. Or your barbecue. What are you cooking here today? Ron Williams Jr. leading off once again for Ed Campanella's team. Brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. 4 for 22. 3 walks to 7 strikeouts. First pitch curveball in for strike 1. Fastball, curveball, changeup. Fastball inside, 1-1. Couple starts and 1 relief appearance so far for Verbrugge. Allowed 4 hits, pitched 4 innings, his last start. No hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. 73 pitches deep in that outing. 3.08 ERA overall this year. Now the 1-2. Decent frame opportunity for Aberretti. Tried to bring it right back in there, but that fastball ran off the plate. High level spin on that one. More like curveball movement. As the changeup rides outside, 3-1.
Yeah, with the movements on Verbrugge's pitches as the catcher behind the dish and Aberretti have to be certainly ready for the darting around the zone, and Aberretti has done well to frame pitches so far this year.
Just over the glove, high hop and past Castellano into right center field there.
Next up for Beavers, the left fielder number 19, Roy Verdejo.
I was just going to say Ron Williams Jr. is a guy who covers the bottom of the strike zone very well, and saw him reach down there and kind of golf one past the pitcher into right center field.
Verdejo has flexed his muscles a couple times this year with the home run ball. First pitch on the corner for strike one. One big swing and a miss. The fastball buried in at 89. It's a fastball that's reached as much as 92 so far this year. 88 on average. Been slightly over that in the first inning of today. Away 1 and 2. Matt Schneider, the analytics intern that sit next to us every game here in the press box, showed me a graph earlier with the crackdown on everything going on in Major League Baseball in terms of the sticky stuff of every substance. 1-2, wow. Wicked curveball for strike three. So velocity is up. Spin is obviously way down. I mean, the graph was quite particular in terms of, it ranged, at the top scale, like maybe 3,000 spin and all the way down to 2,100 or so. It might be a little bit off on that, but it's been a difference of about 100 in the spin rate so far. Looking at what this year's velocities and spin rates were. This one outside and an easy steal for Ron Williams Jr. as he takes second base. But that's interesting because everybody's also concerned about injuries when you talk to the pitchers. We've seen that presented by another number of guys who are already injured after the changes have been made. But you think you start ticking up velocity, that's going to get you injured too if you're, freefully trying to throw harder. This one outside to Travis McFarland, 2-0.
We talk about making tweaks at this point in the season, nearly about halfway through now, 60 games in. That can be a lot for a pitcher to have that dropped on you, kind of a bomb dropped on you middle of the way through. And now, again, you mentioned maybe trying to overthrow a little bit and straining the body.
2-0, big rip and a tap back by McFarland. Fastball at 88 there. And I think that's the biggest problem with everybody is it's a change mid-season, right?
Yep.
2-1 is fouled off. Guys have been doing this maybe their whole career, certainly all of this year. And then it's kind of a sudden halt.
I believe it's a 10-game suspension for people, I guess pitchers who will, offenders, I should say.
Is it going to be like the bat checks they used to do in Little League? Pull out your fingers here. Do you have any pine tar in your hands? It's going to be hard to police. 2-2 is lifted foul.
That looks a bit more like the curveball there from Verbrugge. And a bit late on that was McFarland. You want to try to catch the curveball up at its apex. If you can get one hanging over the heart of the plate, that's a dream desire, but definitely a pitch to keep hitters off balance.
Good swing after good swing. We've talked about it before. Willie Martin was on with you yesterday, the director of player development, and he looks for not only does a guy have a long at-bat, he says anybody can have a long at-bat and foul off pitches, but is he taking his best swings? And that's certainly something we've seen in this at-bat from McFarland so far here in the first. 2-2 lined into right field, a base hit. They're going to hold Williams Jr. at third. So runners on the corners to start this first inning. Nearly identical to what we saw on the top of the first.
McFarland able to stay hot there. Runners on the corners now. Less than 2 outs, as Jeremy noted. Similar story to the top half of the frame, but McFarland has just been showing off that power of late. That time, able to just move the runner over and get on base, get the job done.
Certainly one reason why this Beavers lineup has been able to perk up. And maybe early on in the season, a 5-spot put up, and the Beavers might have hung their head a bit more. But trying to claw back right away here in the bottom of the first inning of this 7-inning game here today. The 1-0. Saw it off.
This wasn't as much of the issue what we're seeing right now. Runners at first and third the other day against the Hoppers. They had traffic on the base paths. Left 14 on base, though. It was capitalizing in these positions. Less than 2 outs. Runner 90 feet away from crossing home plate. This is where you need to capitalize down 5-0.
1-1, swing and a miss. Tailing curveball to the outer part of the plate. Acting a bit more like a slider in that scenario. Throws the fastball nearly 70% of the time. The curve at 21%. And the changeup very little, at least to this point. Decent fastball in the inner half at 89, but Christian LeBoy watched it into the glove all the way. Keyshawn Lynch, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the first. And then it would be Dallas Binder. Way outside, trying to maybe overthrow that one.
That time potentially after the pitch inside on the previous delivery, maybe trying to expand the zone a little bit there on LeBoy. We've seen righties over the past couple of days have success against righties with the slider away.
On the ground to the left side, Lopez Rios cuts to second in time. Over to first, not quite, and the run will score. Christian LeBoy able to reach first base here, and it's 5-1. Now Keyshawn Lynch, the last shot here in the bottom of the first inning. Moving him down in the order a bit here today. Been at the top pretty much every game. This is a slicer to right, and getting over on that is McConnell as he makes the catch. Running himself into the right field corner for the third out here in the first inning. Nice job to flash the leather and save maybe another run and a base hit. It's 5-1, a gusty first inning. A reminder to chime in with hashtag USPBL Dads. Again, hashtag USPBL Dads. Maybe it's a picture of your barbecue, your food, your potato salad here today, homemade. Maybe even some homemade pierogies if you're Polish like the other day. Pictures of you and your dad, anything pertaining to Father's Day. We want to see it. Hashtag USPBL Dads. Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Cole Gidley on for his second inning of work here today. He'll face the top of the order. Single by McConnell, single by Lopez Rios. They both scored a run and a pop-out by Castellano. One of the better innings we have seen from the Eastside Diamond Hoppers this year.
Yeah, 5 spot there, hoping to back that up, and we'll see if Gidley can settle in, as we've seen throughout the season, guys, maybe give up a few 2 or 3 runs in that first, rediscover their form, but working from behind here, now 5-1. The bats were pretty aggressive off Gidley in that top half of the first.
Jesse Nochi on YouTube says, Happy Father's Day, Skip Nochi. Good stuff. And you got to remember, a lot of people working today, the managers. I'm not sure any players have kids, but there's that side as well. Kind of often forgotten on these holidays, I guess, but good to see a lot of them in attendance.
And Jeremy, a happy first Father's Day to you, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, it's different. Getting used to that,
yeah.
you know.
Do you do anything special this morning?
We went out to a little breakfast. Baby is in attendance with my parents here today as well. First pitch high and away to Ben McConnell. Got a nice omelet, some pancakes earlier.
I have to ask, what do you like in your omelet?
I'm kind of the feta cheese. You like feta cheese or no? You're a little more picky, so you might not like that.
I have to stick with cheddar.
Okay.
Fairly basic.
So I like the kind of Mediterranean. So feta, green pepper, onion. They looked at me kind of weird today, though, because it was a Euro omelet, and I took out the Euro meat. But that's I wanted everything that wasn't the Euro meat. So
there we go.
It wasn't a Euro omelet. It was just whatever I wanted, I guess.
That's what life is. It's whatever you want to make it.
Juan Lopez Rios. That single in the first. Nice 3-2 battle for him.
You can put Lopez Rios top or bottom of the order. Very flexible piece that you can kind of plug and play anywhere.
0-1, swing and a miss at the changeup. Yeah, Nochi said the other day, not necessarily your traditional shortstop, but he does a good job out there. 0-2, skips in.
He's got good baseball IQ. Smart base runner when he gets on. Good in the infield as well when it comes to making plays at short. I mean, at shortstop, your brain has to be a calculator working off instincts and recognition. What's the situation? Who's on base? How fast is this guy? You're constantly thinking and calculating. You are the quarterback of the infield, and he tries to carry that mentality over offensively as well.
Here's the 1-2. Curveball, looped foul. So 9 batters coming to the plate in the first inning. 4 hits and 5 runs for this Eastside team. That's a 5th to what they've had this season. 20 coming into the game here today. Here's the 2-2. Popped him up. McFarland. Over for the second out here in the second. Just what the doctor ordered for the pitch count here of Cole Gidley. There is no further action in the Beavers' pen. We saw Cuevas just kind of stretching down there just in case, but he has since sat down. Him, Donovan, and Stanton are believed to be the availables here today.
Potential in that Beavers lineup is there to bounce back. But right now, it would be big for the confidence of Gidley to get another quick out here after that laborious first inning.
Castellano was the first out of that first. Away, 2-0 on Pedro. 3 for 14 so far this season. Now 15 actually after his first at-bat. Willie Martin likes some of his swings, though, the director of player development. I think he's pretty good defensively as well, plus defender in his eyes. First impressions are a big thing. 3-0 high. Second walk of the day now for Cole Gidley. One was cashed in with a run back in the first. And now Jason Aponte trying to keep it going.
Switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty. Good spot in the Hoppers lineup as we saw in the top half of the first. Aponte has popped from both sides, though. You talk to people around the grounds, and it's difficult to tell which side is his natural side because he's very consistent from both, and there's not really a matchup that he isn't comfortable with.
One and one on this Hoppers center fielder.
Jeremy, another little neat story about Aponte. I believe we touched on it the other day, but he's a ping pong player, which is valuable when it comes to baseball in the sense that you're working on doing one consistent motion. And that's a repetitive motion without head movement because you don't want that head to move. Really, you think about any sport. You're playing darts, you're playing ping pong. If you're playing darts, you can't move your head around or else it's going to go all over the place. So same thing when you're swinging a bat. You want to be level, balanced, and comfortable.
Here's the 0-2. Chopper foul. You a ping pong guy?
I have tried. I'm a big tennis guy, so I think I kind of am attracted to ping pong as well. Excited for the table tennis in the Olympics coming up. But, I mean, I enjoy it. I do. I try. Kind of have always wanted a ping pong table just to... Yeah.
Birthday present?
Yeah, something like that.
Hint, hint. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss at the top of the zone there. Nice job by Cole Gidley to bear down after the 2-out walk here in the second inning on the USPBL network.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfield!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
And welcome back to Jimmy John's Field on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Jason Ross Jr. with Jeremy Otto and Jenna Rose today in the booth. Father's Day crowd is up and at 'em. 5-1 is the Hoppers' lead early on. 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors on the Beavers side of things. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. As Verbrugge is getting set to toe the rubber. Once again here. Hoping to back up what he did in the first inning of work. Has 4 runs of insurance with which to work, thanks to his offense. As Binder gets set to step to the plate, one of the newer guys in the Beavers lineup.
First pitch, a curveball in for strike 1.
Being able to throw that curve on any count is impressive to see out of the young 23-year-old. It's something that you talk to some of the guys in this league, maybe former college coaches of pitchers like Verbrugge, who just wrapped up a college season. Not everyone in college is accustomed to throwing a first pitch breaking ball. Slows it down again, and when you can do that, naturally it keeps the hitter off balance because you're not quite sure what to expect initially, and it sets up your sequencing for the rest of the AB as well.
Fastball high at 90 there, 2-2. Binder once again playing in the outfield. Center field here today, 1 for 16 start for him. Now the 2-2 on the ground, right back at him. Verbrugge in style over to first. JJ the Water Boy getting a nice, or the Bat Dog in this situation, I guess. Will be the Water Boy in a half inning, getting a nice round of applause. Always presented by Michigan First Credit Union is JJ. Here's the first pitch to Nafi Mercedes. Fastball that rides in at 89. What do you think it was like for JJ last year not to have many fans around? You think he noticed?
I think he did. Very interactive dog. I really love JJ, and He definitely understands the atmosphere, and I think he knows that this is one of the biggest crowds we've had so far.
1-1 is in for strike two. I told you the story on the air about the Catholic League Championship, right?
Well, is this pertaining to JJ?
Yeah.
I don't believe I've heard this.
No? Okay. Here's the 1-2, high and away. So the Catholic High School League Championships were played here at Jimmy John's Field, which they have been for the last few years, but JJ was in the press box. I was doing PA over on the other side. Here's the 2-2. Curveball that remains high. And fans just, they started clapping or cheering loudly because something good happened. And JJ puts both paws up on the counter and just starts barking. He wanted to be out there. 3-2 on the ground to Lopez Rios. Easy charity hop for him for the second out in the second.
It was a pretty decently worked at bat there from the pitcher Verbrugge. 3 breaking balls to start him off there, and they all kind of had downward break. Led to the ground ball out. So second consecutive easy ground ball out.
Now Collier Rutledge stepping in for the first time here today. It would be Austin Shoemaker after him. That would complete the first round through the order for Andrew Verbrugge. 2 up and 2 down here in the second. He allowed 3 base runners in the first. Double play chance off the bat of LeBoy. He reached a strikeout and a flyout with the 2 outs before that created. 1-1 now on Collier Rutledge. Yeah, really nice crowd, really starting to file in. It's got to be our biggest. I know I wasn't here last night, but you said it was a pretty nice, rowdy crowd.
There was definitely some Saturday night energy flowing. I think it was pent up during the rain delay.
Okay.
Towards the latter stages, Jeremy, it did not level off at any point.
Were sales of a certain concession up maybe too?
Potentially.
Outside 2-2 on Rutledge.
There was a sing-along, a wave broke out. I mean, a legitimate
really?
wave, Jeremy. It was back and forth at least 3 times.
Very cool.
Hadn't seen that yet.
2-2 up and in. That must have been the 3-2, I beg your pardon. So that allows Rutledge to reach his 3rd walk so far this season.
Looking here to see if Verbrugge can kind of re-attack the strike zone against Shoemaker, as that last at bat, Rutledge is a hitter who can be susceptible to pitches on the inner half of the plate, but Verbrugge kind of worked around the zone. There we go.
Is that a new bat for Shoemaker? Don't remember seeing that bright blue one.
I think so. I haven't seen that one yet either. It's a nice sky blue.
Matching kind of the sky in between the clouds here today. Decent amount of cloud cover over right field. Kind of stretchy cotton ball type clouds over the left center field gap here today. The 1-0 is low. Fastball at 87 there for Shoemaker. And still that subtle breeze, maybe a little bit even more subtle than what we saw at the beginning of the game. Pennants and left nearly limp, but that flagpole and right moving. 2-0 is in for strike 1. Took something off on the 2-seam fastball there at 86. Fights inside. 3-1 now on Shoemaker. 2 up and 2 down, and then the walk by Collier Rutledge, and in danger of walking the bottom of the order here with Ron Williams Jr. due up. He had a single back in the first. Outside, no. Called him back with strike 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of lefties in the 9 spot for the Beavers lineup, and then at the top of the order with Ron Williams Jr., so it feels like a nice crucial turnover spot here, and naturally a bit more of a difficult at-bat for the right-handed pitcher to work against the lefty. And that was after facing 8 consecutive lefties.
in there for strike 3. Shoemaker with a tough at bat there. Thought he coaxed a walk maybe a couple times, and nothing becomes of the 2-out walk as Verbrugge bears down and gets the strikeout here.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Jeremy Otto and Jason Ross Jr. back with you here from the ballpark. Jenna Rose, the third member of our team here today. You'll hear from her later in the broadcast again as well. Reminder to continue to submit our photos, or your photos, to us. Hashtag USPBL Dads on Twitter here today. Caitlin O., Austin Shoemaker's fiance, says that blue bat is his Father's Day bat. It even says his dad's name on it. There you go. I thought that might be the case. I didn't want to come to conclusions, though.
I love that. Father's Day bat.
You see that in the major leagues as well?
Yeah.
The pink bats for Mother's Day as well. I was thinking about that the other day, and obviously these guys, supply their bats on their own for the most part at this level, so maybe don't have as much money to invest in another $60 to $100 just for one day, but I'm a little surprised we don't see that a bit more. I went to the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory. I think we talked about that a few times. Interesting to see how they dip bats and spray bats and all the different ways to put the lacquer on and even cut it, and opposed to a major league bat, a minor league bat, and then all the way up to the major leagues as well. And they had one of those on display, both a Father's Day and a Mother's Day one. First pitch to Greg Vaughn Jr. outside. He walked and scored a run back in the first. He also plated a run with that walk. McConnell, Lopez Rios, Aponte, Gregg, and De Los Santos all scored in that first. Better inning for Cole Gidley. That's why he's still out there for the third. Just a 4-batter inning in the second. 2-out walk to Castellano was it. Then he struck out Aponte to bury him over there at first. It's Vaughn Jr., Kreitzer, and De Los Santos. Your Zach Hart agency, 3 men to up. Fouled back.
For Vaughn Jr., they're still kind of trying to work on his ability defensively, but offensively has a really advanced approach to right center and left center. We talked about his capability in the middle of this Hopper's order and saw that in inning number 1.
Outside 3-2.
Big game for both sides today. Hopper's at 500, chance to get above 500. Could be 5-4 if they can hang on here. Keeping up with Utica. Utica team that's now lost 2 in a row after that 6-2 start.
2 walks for Greg Vaughn Jr. now. He's driven his walk total above his strikeout total to this point. 9 walks to 7 strikeouts.
For Vaughn Jr., we've touched on his storyline, that his dad, Greg Vaughn, played in the majors and was known for his power, and Vaughn Jr. has kind of carved a path of his own as he naturally wanted to, and said that growing up everyone kind of expected him to hit for power, which he can do, but he's a guy who can also keep a consistent average at his best and reach base by way of the walk.
0-1, runner moving. This one right to McFarland for the first out. Yeah, Greg last year was right around even in terms of the walks to strikeouts. 21 walks to 23 Ks by year's end. 87 plate appearances, 63 at-bats in total. Here's the man that had the big hits. Bases clearing double into left field past Roy Verdejo, who was playing in. Made a really nice bid for a great catch out there. Banged into the wall and just couldn't hang on. Change up outside, 1-0. Gunnar Rainey would be next. He also had a RBI single in that first. 1-0 inside, 2-0. Another changeup from Cole Gidley. Been mixing that in a bunch more than what we've seen so far in his starts. Just 5% changeup coming into today. But this is nearly a full 2 rotations around. And for a guy who's come out of the bullpen once already, probably going to have to use those 3 pitches a bit more.
The change can be a good 2-strike pitch for him. So far this year, righties have a 294 average off Gidley.
3-0, hit him. So De Los Santos gets on for the second time today.
And that's also kind of been the issue there, is the control. 5 walks in the previous start. And there, we saw the walk earlier today that brought home a run. Now hit batter. 1 out here, runners at first and second for the Hoppers.
A.J. Coleman will take the visit to the mound in lieu of Ed Campanella here. Coleman with another good outing the other day. If you're just looking at the sheer stats, maybe it wouldn't look that way, but was able to strand quite a few base runners. But more importantly, retired the last 10 he faced. Or actually retired a strand of, at the end of the first to the end of the fourth, 10 in a row. Came out for that 5th inning as well for the second straight start. Fastball in for strike 1 and Gunnar Rainey.
Coleman's kind of the ace of that Beaver staff. 19 2/3 innings pitched, which is a team high. Strikeout numbers have been up this year, and a true coach on the field, as you saw there.
0-1, tried to hold up, he couldn't.
Speaking with Willie Martin yesterday, who works in player development, he touched on how important it is at this level to have players who make other players better. And Coleman is certainly a guy who is now literally in a role where he does that, coming out in lieu of the manager.
0-2 is high. There's not a set pitching coach in uniform each game. There's one overall. I mean, 2, really. Justin Orenduff, not by title, isn't a pitching coach. He's more overall, director of all personnel here at the league. 1-2, chopped on the ground to Mercedes. Feeds to second in time, and Williams Jr. dropped it. They'll say it's on the transfer, though, as the out is recorded at second. It moves Greg Vaughn Jr. to third, so corners with 2 outs here. But anyway, what I was saying, so that's why you see A.J. Coleman come out. Austin Dakar has done that for the Unicorns. It's often the veteran DVS guys who kind of know what that message might be. Shane McCaddy, the overall pitching coordinator here at the USPBL, constantly working with pitches along with Justin on DVS system. Shane also works at DVS in the offseason / throughout the year as well. Curveball wiped out on Aberrant down low for strike one. Gidley really wants to strand that runner at third. Changeup they got away.
Seeing the changeup drop down to as low as 81. His fastball can get up to about 93, 94. Good difference in velocity between those two pitches, but all about kind of commanding them as well and finding the strike zone.
Here's the 1-1. Try to check his swing. And looks like he did, and it's a ball. Keyshawn Lynch from his shortstop position asking for the appeal. Beside himself that his team doesn't get the call. 2-1. The pitch away. Another changeup at 81. Outside. Gonna be a play at the plate, and sliding himself in is Greg Vaughn Jr. here. So with 2 outs, the inning continues.
Did well to break home as soon as he saw that pitch got away. Tacks on another run of insurance. 6-1.
Here's Ben McConnell again. Seems like McConnell has gotten a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position early on in his USPBL career. First pitch on the ground. Lynch ranging off. Throws across his body. Can't quite get it. And the pond is again full of hoppers here in the third.
Momentum was carrying him to kind of that arm side and had to make the throw from a lower position than he would have normally liked to. Moving again to his right. Throw pulled the first baseman off the bag, and you put the ball in play, good things tend to happen. We've seen that so far with the hoppers playing dividends on the scoreboard.
They have ruled that a hit. The first hit of the third inning. 2 walks, a hit by pitch, a fielder's choice, and now a single have been the base runners. That one clubbed down the line. Foul. Ooh, boy. That's another one that probably could have cleared the bases. Roy Verdejo was playing over. And that's the spot we've talked about. If it hooks all the way to the corner, kind of the only opportunity maybe for a triple, unless you have some real speed and it gets by somebody playing in. This one hit the opposite direction. Now it's LeBoy who will make the easy catch for the third out here in the third inning. So they quietly send 7 more to the plate and finally get their fifth third out here of the third inning. Now time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today. Brings out the water to the base pass umpire behind the second base bag. And in turn, gets a nice treat for that as well.
On a warm day like that, Jeremy, good to see. Gosh, JJ's versatile. Oh, man. Now he's working on the Frisbee. Just dips right into a new activity.
Here's your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot now. Buzz getting the head start, trying to hold on to his britches here. And the kid behind him. This is the most potential for a mascot win here. Buzz around the third base bag. Our kid now rounding the third base bag. Buzz is going to prematurely celebrate. Our kid says, I'm going to blow by you, and just barely beat Buzz. Nice round of applause from everyone in attendance here today. Your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot on a fine Father's Day for some baseball here today. Reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube in the chat section. We want to continue to see those hashtag USPBL dad pics come in on Twitter, and you could see that later on over the air on the broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the Jimmy John's Field Fan Challenge.
Looks like we have a few pictures in. We want to see some more of those so we can put those up in the end of the 6th inning on our broadcast here today. Verbrugge out for his 3rd inning of work here. He's seen a few base runners and a run come across the plate so far here today. Single back in the 1st. Came all the way around to score. That was the leadoff man, Ron Williams Jr. Just a single walk in the 2nd inning. That was the only base runner against Andrew to 6 through 9 in the order. So he will see the top of the order again. Williams Jr., Verdejo, and McFarland now. Your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the 3rd. Williams Jr. off to a fairly tough start at the plate, so good to see him get a single. One of the veteran guys for the Beavers coming back. Curveball in for strike 1.
Yeah, Williams Jr., a guy who, going back to his college days, not a ton of power, but he'll put the ball in play, and we noted covers the bottom of the strike zone well. You harken back to his first hit, kind of reached down and golfed a pitch through the hole on the right side.
Looking over to Kreitzer over at first there. 1 down.
But Verbrugge overall has done well against this portion of the lineup so far as they try to start now adjusting against him. I spoke to lefty Greg Lokinen of the Woolly Mammoths yesterday morning. We talked about pitch sequencing and how, for him, that kind of depends on a hitter-by-hitter basis of what adjustments you're making from the mound. And for the hitter, now 2nd, 3rd trip through the order, you're making adjustments on the fly based off what you've seen.
1-0 slices inside.
So a fun game of chess, baseball, in a sense.
And quite the outing for Greg yesterday.
Oh, yeah. 3 scoreless innings of work out of the pen, one of which was almost an immaculate inning. Came 1 pitch away, Jeremy. The first 7 pitches he threw were strikes. And then there was a ball that was controversial, just called off the outside corner, but then wrapped it up with a few more strikes. And he was fun to watch yesterday.
This one hit to left center field. Aponte ranging back, floats, and he can't make that catch out there. Verdejo to 2nd base. Boy, it looked like it kind of carried above Aponte. Didn't know how to react to it and was floating his way back. Probably longer in that position than he would have liked. But in the end, a nice poke for Roy Verdejo here.
It did certainly carry to left center there, and Aponte wasn't able to get back around in front of the baseball. Had to keep tracking back and searching for where it was. Ultimately tried to make the catch over his shoulder, but unable to do so there.
First pitch curveball. Maybe just low on Travis McFarland. Greg Lukinen, product of Orchard Lake St. Mary's. His high school yesterday, winning 9-0 over Stevensville Lakeshore. En route to their 2nd state championship in 5 years and a 43-1 record. If you want to talk about Division I guys and future professional baseball players, that lineup and the pitching staff is absolutely stacked. Some had them as top 3 in the country, some as number 1. I mean, there's no really official rating system, whether you look in the state, in the country, outside of the state for high school. So it's kind of tough to measure sometimes, but they were legit, and they did what everybody thought they would do, nearly doing so undefeated. Saline, just the one blemish on their schedule this year. 3-0 away as McFarland draws a walk here in the third, and now there's runners on first and second.
And McFarland continues to reach base, whether it's by way of the walk or a ball off the end of his bat. That's what he's done of late. And on the note of Lokinen, he is a guy who could be really fun to watch moving forward. He was actually supposed to start yesterday's game, what was initially going to be the second of a 6-inning doubleheader, but came out of the pen, had to adjust, and did so very well.
Pitch outside. 1-0 on Christian LeBoy. Nearly hit into a double play the last time he was up. Big swing and a miss. Well, Alex Mooney on Orchard Lake St. Mary is somebody that everybody's kind of watching. Projected to be a pretty high draft pick out of high school. He was 1 for 2 yesterday with a pair of RBIs. It's cool to see some of those local guys work up the chain, be scouted, get that opportunity. 2-1 nearly hits LeBoy.
There was a lot of talent in East Lansing yesterday on the baseball side, the softball side. I know the soccer finals were there as well, but a lot of future talent was just kind of stockpiled in one area yesterday for the state finals.
Yeah, all at one place as well, right? Still, Michigan State.
Yeah.
3-1, slicing fastball away from LeBoy, 3-2 now. Always kind of fun to be around that atmosphere as well with the 3 games going on. You can hear the cheers from one stadium to the next because they're literally kind of all in one triangle over in East Lansing. 3-2 is chopped foul. Second time that LeBoy has worked a 3-2 count here.
Yeah, I was tuning in. Our sideline reporter today, Jenna, did an awesome job on the analyst role for softball, and I saw there were so many games going on, they actually had to shift trophy ceremonies to a different field because they had games starting up in less than an hour after that. So, fun day.
Here's the 3-2. Curveball, buckled the knees for strike 3. Verbrugge says see you later here in the third.
Doesn't matter, first pitch, put away pitch today. He has gone to that curve on any count, and it's keeping the lineup off balance, trying to get one more out here. We've seen a few ground ball outs. Can he find one to wrap this up efficiently?
And that one kind of lollipop, but at the same time still that slider-type break. Wicked. Uncorks another one off the outside at 79, 1-0. Verdejo on second, he doubled. McFarland on first, and now they'll advance to second and third with the pass ball here.
Feels like another big moment for the Beavers offensively. 2 outs, runners at second and third. They've been in this position today with a runner 90 feet away from home plate, but couldn't capitalize in the fashion that they would have liked to. So we'll see again if they can find something here to claw their way back inning by inning with 2 outs.
2-0 high. Three and 0 on Keyshawn Lynch here. Had one of his better swings of the year his last time up. Big time slicing fly ball to the right fielder Ben McConnell. That's the thing about right field that people don't realize. The ball, especially from righties, slices tremendously. In for strike 2.
Fun AB here. Now you're at 2 strikes, simplifying the approach a bit for Keyshawn Lynch, who is in a big moment with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Well, it doesn't seem like a lot, but the team batting average now is 161 entering today for the Beavers. Probably goes up a bit more. Entering play this week, just 155. A couple of those big innings the other day improved it. 3-2 away. And now the bases are loaded for them for the first time here today.
That's a well-worked at-bat from Lynch. And another number to add on there, Jeremy, is 078 with runners in scoring position for the Beavers so far this year. But you've got them loaded up. And first time that Paul Noce has to come out to have a quick chat with Verbrugge.
And we don't want to clog you with too many numbers here because we've said a lot in the last sentence, but another thing to take a look at in terms of struggling hitters and in general, batting average on balls in play is a pretty good indicator. If that's low, and if you have a number of line drive hitters / professional hitters like you have here, it's a good indication that you're just kind of having bad luck. They entered today at 221. A high batting average on balls in play where you start to look at things is around 400 or so, when it becomes like, wow, this guy's either really lucky or he's a really good line drive hitter. And unless he's a line drive hitter, they kind of even out. So expect to see these Beavers perk up a bit more just based off that as well. Strike one to Dallas Binder. He's the sixth man to the plate in this third inning. 0-1, wow. There it is again. Ooh, Aberrett hoping that was a strike. He kind of flexed his knees after the pitch was called a ball. 1-1. Spin of 2,500, right around in normal times where the major league average for a curveball would be. This one gets away. Look out for Verdejo easily sliding in. And the Beavers get a bit closer. It's 6-2.
Well, hasn't been contact. It was the walk, and then now a pitch that gets away. All of a sudden, a little two-out rally brewing. Runners advance 90 feet. Feels like a big spot in the game here, bottom of the third.
Here's the 2-1. Lifts the fastball foul. So a reminder, we're playing 7 here today, 9 innings scheduled for most of the week, and that's how it will be going forward, except for the double headers, which will be 2 games of 6. That not really working out yesterday because of the rain and the delayed start and the tarp and all that stuff, but 2-2 curveball in there for strike 3. My goodness. Mark down this third inning on some of the best curveballs we have seen this year from Andrew Verbrugge. For the Beavers, they will face Castellano, Jason Aponte, and Greg Vaughn Jr. And here we have a milk drinking contest. Looks like a father-son here today, Jason.
It does. Milk means more drinking contest. It should be fun.
Now, you know, they high-five now, but I'm sure as soon as this thing starts, it's going to get serious. Oh. So they have to twist it off. Oh, there you go. Cheers.
Sportsmanship.
Oh, boy. On a day like this, Dad is not having it. And son takes his first air bubble there, yes. I don't know. Oh, Dad's trying to chug it now. Dad got it.
There we go. If you're a dad, that's what you want to do. It builds character. But then the hug to come back. I love it.
Good stuff. Your milk means more milk drinking contest here today on Father's Day. Back with more after this.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello. Get a quote and save up to 20%.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
The Carpet Guys give you warehouse direct pricing that will knock your socks off.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing.
Let the Carpet Guys bring the store to your door with prices that will knock your socks off. Be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855...
Ed Cuevas now in the bump for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Will be his 6th game of the year, all in relief. 7 2/3 innings. He's given up a pair of runs. Has a .234 ERA to his credit so far. Ran into him before the game the other day. Had a fresh haircut. I think it was either Shane McCaddy, pitching coordinator, or Willie Martin, director of player development, who asked him, hey, why'd you get a haircut? He said, I gave up a run. I was going to roll with the hair until I gave up a run.
You know, right-hander Miguel Sereno of Utica got a new haircut. He pitched well last night. Might be a trend.
Here's the 0-1 outside. 1-1 on Pedro Castellano. Walked back in the 2nd inning, popped out in the 1st as well. One fly ball, likely going to hang up there and right though. Christian LeBoy cruising in a few steps for the 1st out. He makes the 3rd and the 1st out consecutively here in the 3rd and 4th. Now Jason Aponte, who reached in a play you really just don't see hardly at all. Catcher's interference on Austin Shoemaker. He came around to score, then struck out in the 2nd as well. A bit of action in both of these bullpens for these two teams currently. Beavers guys just stretching out right now. 0-1. In for strike 2. For the Hoppers, it looks like Hunter Pierce down there. Big swing by Aponte as it's buried to the screen.
Cuevas on the mound right now for the Beavers, a guy who has had a lot of experience in college out of the bullpen. He has worked the closer role in the past. A 2-seam changeup slider mix and an 0-2 count to work with here as he's in the driver's seat.
Swing and a miss there. Aponte trying to scramble down to first. Going to be close, but Shoemaker just bites him over there for the 2nd out. Yeah, the last outing was the 2 runs given up this season for Ed. Both of them earned. No walks to 2 strikeouts and 2 full innings of work. 2nd time he's worked 2 full. Mostly an inning or an inning and a half. First pitch to Greg Vaughn Jr. slices in for strike 1. The slider, which we haven't seen hardly at all from Cuevas. Mostly fastball changeup. Does get a good amount of swings on his changeup.
Righty is batting just 143 off him so far this season.
0-2 low. Fastball at 88 there. This is a bit of a different matchup for him. Greg Vaughn Jr. has already walked twice, scored twice, both on 3-1 counts in the first and third innings. 1-2, buried it away. Change up there, 2-2. Extra base hits off Ed have become hard to come by as well. Just one double and a homer. That's where the 2 runs came off of. 2-2, swing and a miss. Some nice late life on that one. And it's a 1-2-3 breeze for Cuevas in the 4th. Fly out, strikeout here on Father's Day.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're going to be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Shake it off here at the ballpark. A middle innings tradition. As we welcome you back. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning in a 7-inning game here today. Navy Mercedes, Collier Rutledge, and Austin Shoemaker, your Zach Hart agency 3-men 2 up.
Jeremy, wonderful crowd on hand today, as we saw. That crowd may hear the name of our sideline reporter today, Jenna Rose, in a couple of innings, because in the 6th, the highest speeds of the day on the fast pitch activity over in the right field corner are announced over the speakers. And
really?
Her average velocity today with the softy ball was 59, but she breached 60 a couple of times. Hit 60, but you take with the softy ball, you have to add on 5 miles per hour.
So one of those little balls that they...
No, it's like it's a
the squishy
thing.
Yeah.
So you add on 5 miles per hour if it were to be an actual baseball, if you're equating it here to an actual baseball. So her average velocity was actually about 64, 65 today. Consistently.
And what's her goal? Was it 70 or 60?
It was 70, but 60 was quite the accomplishment.
No, I'm not saying it's not.
No.
I'm asking where she wants to get to after her DVS rundown.
She feels it's impossible, but wants to add 1 mile per hour on every time.
I don't know. Justin told her some things, right?
Yeah.
Have you incorporated those grips yet? She says no.
The DVS tweaks.
New pitcher is Hunter Pierce. He was warming up in the last half inning. Well, we'll continue to check in on that. Might have to bring the camera out there one day.
Uh-huh.
That might make her too nervous, though.
We should definitely do that for a pregame segment.
0-1, busted back, and then we'll get a wiffle ball game going with the crew. Wouldn't that be fun?
I would love that.
That would be sweet. I'm a big wiffle ball guy. Let's do it.
I may or may not have had a wiffle ball bat against Unicorns righty Miguel Sereno last week. It went fairly well. I may or may not have doubled down the left field line once.
But he wasn't throwing full tilt.
No, he was on an off day.
On the ground to Lopez Rios. That one for the first out here. Hayden Pierce, 1 up and 1 down. Pierce, one of the newer additions to the USPBL. This is his 3rd game of work. 6 1/3 innings, 4 walks to 6 strikeouts. Has not allowed a run of any variety thus far. Fastball, curveball mainly, a little bit of the slider so far. This one poked well to right. McConnell weaving back for the second out.
And Rutledge had a pretty high fly ball percentage heading into that at bat there. Got under it again there, and another fly out. Quick 2 outs for Pierce.
And I don't know, Jason, but that wind doesn't seem to be carrying that much, but it seems like these outfielders are surprised. I don't know if it's just that they're playing in.
Yeah, that's an interesting note as well. We've seen that a couple of times now.
Hey, look at the pennants out there. They're pretty still. The American flag moving just a touch heavier as Shoemaker lifts it back. There it is. Just a little saunter.
Can that be our word of the day?
Sure.
Saunter. I love that word. Sauntering down the line.
A lot of room for this left-handed bat in right center field as Aponte is well over. Here's a swinging bunt. Wow. That one took a wicked hop.
Yeah. Kind of off the edge of the infield grass, I believe, between where the dirt is located, and it just took quite the hop there. We were mentioning yesterday that this infield has relatively tall grass, so ground balls are naturally rolling a little slower than most infields, and because of the rain yesterday, they were kind of that much more difficult to handle. So if you're charging in from short or charging in from second, interesting how this infield plays.
0-2, swing and a miss. We'll have to complete it again, but a really nice inning for Pierce in the fourth. Ground ball, fly out, strikeout in every variety. You're on the USPBL network.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free, and home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
There's Ed Cuevas to pitch his second inning of work. Similar to what we just saw from Hayden Pierce. Pretty snappy fourth inning for Ed as well. Fly out, strikeout, strikeout. So getting right back to his form. And Jason, he's quietly a guy that could be, have to be watched in terms of someone to track going forward, moving on.
Oh, yeah. I think certainly we've watched him work efficient innings out of the pen so far. You noted the pitch mix as well, but looking forward to seeing what Cuevas can do moving forward in the Beavers uniform. It's been a good pitching staff as a whole. 2.81 combined team ERA entering today, which was the lowest among all USPBL teams. They're confident offensively. It's just a matter of kind of translating that over to when you have runners in scoring position to give these guys some run support.
And that's been kind of the difference this year. The Utica Unicorns last year were kind of able to skirt by and not really hit that much until the end of the year, but they had the great pitching. The Beavers have been getting unlucky in terms of, on the other end, not having the offense show up until really this week, but not able to squeak out those tight victories. Today it feels a bit of the same, 6-2. The Hoppers lead. Cuevas looking for the hold, and what I guess is kind of considered a late inning roll right now. Middle innings in a regular 9-inning game, but in a 7-inning contest, you're talking the equivalents of a 6th or 7th. Kreitzer trying to break his 0 for 2 as that one loops foul down the line. Kreitzer, De Los Santos, and Gunnar Rainey, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the 5th. What are we doing after this? Does that take me out mid-5th? Yeah. 0-2, swing and a miss. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Cuevas now.
Looks confident in his stride off the mound, working efficiently out of the windup. And hoping to keep what is still a manageable deficit alive. This game certainly is nowhere near over.
So that's now 4 walks to 13 Ks on the year for Ed. It's got to be the haircut, right?
That's what I'm
Turn
thinking.
the page. 2-run home run the other day.
Same.
Buzz it off.
Yeah, you feel, or you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good.
Look good, feel good, play good, right? That's the.
Yep.
How does that translate to what we do?
Well, I suppose if our notes are good, then we feel good, therefore we play good, but we also do have to look good because we go on camera every now and then, and I think that always adds to a level of confidence when you are confident in your physical appearance that day.
0-2, pounded on the ground, picked up by Ron Williams. Tosses it over to first for the second out here in the 5th.
A beautiful play across the diamond there from Ron Williams Jr.
And now Gunnar Rainey will look to continue what's been a decent day for him on the base pass. RBI single in the first, fielder's choice in the third. 5 of these 6 runs were all scored in the first inning for the Hoppers. It's 6 runs off 5 hits and no errors. 2 runs off 3 hits and no errors for the Beavers. McConnell, Lopez Rios, Aponte, Greg Vaughn Jr., and De Los Santos all scratching home plate in the first. It was a leadoff walk in the third, and 7 batters later, which led to the padding run. Could have been worse. Cole Gidley able to work out of that, and then Cuevas came in the top of the 4th, and 5 batters, 5 walks back to the dugout. Half of them strikeouts. Trying to get another one here. 2-1 now on Gunnar Rainey.
When these teams met up on Fireworks Friday, all of the fireworks, if you will, kind of came early on in the first inning from the Hoppers, similar to today. And what they did in the first inning on Friday ended up being enough. We'll see if that's the same story here.
2-1 high, fastball at 89. It's right around where it's topped out for Cuevas this year. 87 on average. 3-1, swing and a miss. If he can get that up to 90, 91 consistently, I think that could help his case out. 3-2, floating ball. Might be trouble here for Verdejo as he was playing in, or back I should say. And it will drop in for a 2-out base hit here in the 5th.
A lot of room to make up there for Verdejo, as Jeremy noted, was playing back a little. Had to work his way in, and runner on first here with 2 outs. Aberrett down at the bottom of that order trying to spark a rally.
Walk for Aberrett in the third, also had a ground out in the first. By Shoemaker, and Rainey able to take second base here. Some heads-up base running all the way around. We've already seen a couple early steals by both of these teams so far today.
As soon as it skips in the dirt, that's when you want to make your break, and we saw that on display there from Rainey.
Donovan beginning to tune up for the Beavers if need be here in the 5th. He probably takes the 6th inning, though. Here's the 1-0. On top of the changeup there. 1-1, swing and a miss. Aberrett hitting at the bottom of Paul Nochi's lineup here today. Trying to strand this runner on second base is Cuevas, and he messed with his timing a bit here as Aberrett steps out late. Donovan last pitched on Friday for the Beavers through 2 innings, so it's a quick turnaround for him. The starter turned to the bullpen, a couple starts at the beginning of this USPBL season. And after Cuevas was making quick work of 3 through 7, the game has slowed down a bit since the 2-out single by Rainey. He's on second. That's a big pitch right here, the 1-2 high.
Just going to see if I was thinking maybe he goes back to the slider there. That's been his put-away pitch with 2 strikes so far this season, or the swinging strike rate has been the highest on that pitch so far. But still 2-2 here. There, maybe you're just throwing a different look at him, so we'll see what he goes to here.
Ben McConnell on deck, the top of the order. 2-2 pitch, high, maybe away. Change at 82. Aberrett has been ahead in the count all night. 2-1 before his ground out. 3-1 obviously before his walk, and then a 3-2 count here. Swinging another weak chopper. Lynch deep in the hole, throws across his body. No, he didn't. They say McFarland is off the bag. I don't think that was the issue. It was just a matter of whether he was safe or out over at first. So probably an infield single again for Aberrett there.
Aberrett's an athlete. We noted the fact that he's played multiple sports, water polo being one of them. Back in Northern California, running hard down the line there.
And actually, looking at that replay on the YouTube monitor, maybe McFarland's right outstretched toe may have come off the bag. Really tough to tell from our angle. But it was also a pretty close play, I should say, over at first. 0-1 pumped low. But if he did take it off, he put it right back on, if that was the case. But bang, bang play, I guess. So now first and second against Cuevas as this Beavers team looks to add further and put this game out of reach here in the 5th. The 1-1. Change up away. Well, Father's Day here today. Another full line of promotions coming for you next week. We're starting on Wednesday once again. Oldies Night on June 23rd. I think they're going to have a little car show outside, and then there's going to be a little parade of classic cars in the ballpark. Mammoths are going to wear those sweet uniforms. Have you seen those yet?
I have not.
The flames on the front of them.
Ooh.
2-1 on the ground to Keyshawn Lynch again. Same type of play this time. He's able to feed to the covering second baseman Mercedes for the 3rd out of the 5th inning here. Nothing becomes of the pair of singles with 2 outs here in the 5th. Time for your Genesis Credit Union 5th inning stretch here today. You got to get it right because it's 7 inning stretch back to 5th inning stretch now. Here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. There you go, your Genesis Credit Union 5th inning stretch here on the USPBL Network.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
So we mentioned right before break, Oldies Night on Wednesday of this coming week, or this week, depending on how you view Sunday. But here in baseball, I guess it's kind of viewed as a new week tomorrow. But Jimmy Buffett Night featuring Caribbean Blue Band is on Thursday, June 24th, and Fireworks Friday on the 25th. Country Music Night featuring Laughing Madmen on Saturday, and then Superhero Day, presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. Were you with me when you told me that somebody's a big fan of superheroes here in the league?
I do know what you're referring to. I can't recall which one.
It's back in the mind, right? There's so many guys. We'll have to check our notes on that one.
Oh, there is one.
Hayden Pierce out for his second inning of work. His counterpart, Ed Cuevas, was able to wiggle out of a first and second jam with 2 outs. Here's the first pitch to the top of the order. Looks to bunt. That's perfectly placed and away, and no chance.
Wonderfully located there and dropped down off the barrel of the bat. Made his way to first. That's what you might need to do if you're the Beavers. Manufacture runners on the base paths in a different way. It's not always the hard contact. We know that there's that capability in the bats. They had the 5-homer game, which tied a USPBL record for most in a game. Since then, there have kind of been consistent struggles offensively, but the capability is there. Maybe it's getting it done in a different way. We know multiple players have the extra base power, so it's just waiting for the opportunity for someone to be that catalyst to spark the infectious energy. And this could be it now with a runner on and no outs, bottom of the 5th.
First pitch to Verdejo. Nice swing as he pounds it back at a double back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I was going to say opportune part of the order, a guy who was player of the week a couple of weeks ago thanks to a 2-homer week. Pop from both sides of the plate. Just a really good player.
Oh, 1 outside. Reminder to keep sending in those pictures on Twitter with using the hashtag USPBLDads. Again, USPBLDads. Maybe it's a picture of you and your dad. You and your daughter or son. Family pick on Father's Day, your barbecue. We'll take them all. Here's the 1-1. Pumped it back and foul. Travis McFarland and Christian LeBoy will follow Verdejo here. Your Zach Hart agency men due up in the 5th.
McFarland has worked some really good at-bats so far today. This is a good spot in the order to get the ball rolling.
1-2, swinging a tip into the glove.
Typically when Verdejo strikes out, it's a swing and a miss or a chase out of the zone. Can be a tad swing happy at times, but if you put a pitch in the zone that's over the heart of the plate and he lets himself hit, he can really smash it to both fields.
And for a guy that's slightly struggled with the walks compared to his strikeouts, 2 big strikeouts so far here today. Had a strikeout in his 1-2-3 inning in the 4th, so now that's 4 walks to 8 strikeouts for Pierce. McFarland with a single and a walk so far here today. Looks at a ball outside. That extra base pop continues to show. 4 doubles, 3 homers. A lot of his hits have come on off speed so far this year, or breaking balls. 1-0. Slider in for strike 1, or curveball, I beg your pardon. Hayden Pierce coming in at the same time that Pierce Banks did. So even among the staff here, everybody trying to figure out, yes, this is one or the other. Spelled differently, though.
Have you gotten that one down yet?
Not quite, to be honest. 1-1 is in for strike 2.
That's okay. I mean, I'm glad you struggle with it, too.
And I apologize because I know I've been calling Hayden Hunter at times. I don't know why, but I keep running it down Hunter in the scorebook before the game and the available arms. So we'll get that right as well. It's Hayden Pierce on the mound here for the Hoppers in the 5th. Trying to hold on to this 6-2 lead in the bottom of inning number 5. Here's the 1-2. Another curveball. Away. Tim Ruthenberg says, what a great time it was today at the game. Missed this last year. Enjoy all our time at Jimmy John's Field. Cheyenne Gidley, Glenn Pierce, all chiming in. Lynette Velasquez as well, saying, let's go Beavers. Here's the 2-2. Fastball pumped outside, full count. Here on the middle of the order for Ed Campanella's team.
This is the 2-strike approach where you'll see McFarland battle. And has a good eye as well. Won't just swing at anything. We've seen him already draw a walk today.
Seeing a lot of spin on these pitches for Hayden here today. That last fastball at nearly 2,400, right around where his curveball average is. He's nearing actually 2,500, which is right where you want to be to turn eyes. Runner moving, curveball. Hopped on it quickly. Bit too quick that time as he loops it foul. Well, certainly Pierce is going to want to get that down a little bit more if he throws it to this guy.
Yeah, you don't want to leave anything belt high over the heart of the plate. And McFarland, with his power, can kind of reach out and stroke something to the opposite field as well.
Short lead for Williams Jr., just a step over at first. Here's the 3-2. Beavers want to make sure they're not drawing the second out of the inning just from a base running mistake. Pierce has not paid much attention to Ron over there either.
Hoppers are at double play depth right now, holding the runner on over at first. Middle infielders pinched a bit closer to the bag.
Nearly hitting the 3 o'clock hour here today. First pitch at 1:05 on this Sunday. The 3-2. Fastball that was arching high, and again McFarland fought it off. 2-2 battle before his single back in the first. A 3-0 walk in the third, and now another full count delivery here in the 5th. It's the third 3-ball count that the Beavers have worked in the last 3 innings. Haven't seen a whole ton here today. Verbrugge was pretty good out there as well. Swing and a miss. Got him on that tailing maybe slider on the outer edges of the plate for the second out here in the 5th. Now Christian LeBoy, the last chance to try to keep this inning moving for this Beavers offense.
LeBoy's a guy with so much strength, constantly makes hard contact when he does make hard contact. When the timing is there, he can really connect. But when it isn't there, we see a lot of broken bats kind of off the end of the handle or off the end of the bat, and it's a matter of getting his timing down, and that's what hitting it is. It is timing.
Has worked the count both times up there today. 2-3-2 pitches in the first and third. Struck out in the third. Hit into a fielder's choice in the first, which almost turned into a double play. A relay over to first was dropped by Nick Kreitzer. Not sure they had a chance to get LeBoy in the end, though. The 1-0. Fought in for strike one. Waiting on the even count now is Christian LeBoy. The fastball in for strike two. Hear from Jenna Rose, the third member of our team after this inning is complete here. Keyshawn Lynch would be next if LeBoy can find a way to get on. The 1-2 delivery. Again, a curveball slapped foul.
Again, staying away from the barrel of the bat, trying to disrupt the hitter's timing. Working up and down, in and out. That sweet spot on the wooden bat is that much smaller than, say, an aluminum bat. But that's what LeBoy is trying to connect with right now with a 1-2 count.
83-degree day here in Utica, Michigan. The high 87. Chance of rain later through the night. Severe weather possible here in the area. The 1-2 high and away. Fastball at 88. 2-2 on Christian LeBoy. Really good crowd has shown up here on Father's Day, filling up the grandstands. Good contingent out in the patio and left field as well in the Chevrolet Pavilion. Number of people along the drink rails, down the lines as well. All the good spots here in the ballpark. Curveball looped to Lopez Rios at short, and Castellano is able to get the feed at second base. Nothing becomes of the leadoff single here in the fifth on the USPBL network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At FSBCares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBCares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood, because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking. A fifth third.
We're now joined by Eastside Diamond Hoppers manager Paul Nochi. Your team was able to manufacture 5 runs off of 4 hits in the first inning. What was your team able to capitalize on at the plate?
Well, we got a big hit from De Los Santos. The ball almost went out of here, went off the wall, so that was huge coming through. And just putting the ball in play with 2 strikes and making good outs, getting runs.
Since then, your team has only strung together 3 hits. How do you tap back into that infectious energy that we saw in the first?
Well, I don't know if I can do it, but I hope they can. So, but they just got to keep grinding. 7-inning game, so just keep grinding.
And lastly, dialing back to the bottom of the third, 2 outs, bases loaded. You go to the mound to have a conversation with Verbrugge. What was your message?
He just needed a breather. You know, he was getting a little fatigued. His pitch count was high, so I just want to give him a breather, actually, just to regroup.
Thank you. All right, sending it back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Jenna. Down on the sidelines with Hoppers manager Paul Nochi. Juan Lopez Rios to lead off the top of the 6th here at Jimmy John's Field. Hoppers trying to add on to what is already a 4-run advantage.
First pitch from Charles Donovan as he takes over for Ed Cuevas is outside. Donovan faces Juan Lopez Rios here in the 6th. Castellano and Jason Aponte will follow him. One outside, 2-1 on Lopez Rios. Single pop-out flyout for Juan here today. His 13th hit of the year, back in the first inning. Fastball at 87 outside. Couple innings from Donovan the other night on Friday. Nice hop for Keyshawn Lynch as he records the first down here in the 6th.
Donovan struck out 5 on Friday throughout the course of 2 innings of work. That was the highest strikeout number we've seen from him since his first appearance back on May 30th. Walk numbers have been low too since that first appearance.
At this point, if this track record continues, you can probably kind of throw that one out the window. His professional debut, maybe a few jitters out there. I mean, we even saw A.J. Coleman kind of deliver a start that we wouldn't have expected from a veteran on opening day, but even he admits, hey, I thought it was just a little bit of jitters. And certainly in a pressure-packed environment like that, you kind of being the guy or one of the guys in the USPBL representing the pitching staff can give you a little extra oomph in the right or wrong direction. This one in for strike 2 on Pedro Castellano.
Donovan features the 4-seamer as he works quickly here.
Fly ball to right center field, chasing LeBoy and company back, and this one is caught at the warning track by Binder.
We've seen the outfielders playing in a bit, so having to range back quite a bit there. Was the center fielder and made the play. The center fielder always has priority over his fellow outfielders. Shortstop has priority over the rest of the infield. Outfielders have priority over the infield in general. But that was a nice play ranging back there. But as I was getting to, curveball, changeup, and cutter as well, in addition to the 4-seam fastball for Donovan.
Aponte. 2 strikeouts and a catcher's interference. I don't believe that counts as an offer for him. I guess it shouldn't because it's not under his control. It's not like an error. Not often that you see those.
No.
In terms of scoring them, I didn't even know how to put it in. I put C-I-N-T
Okay.
in the scorebook. Oh, it is an P.J. Gradowski, who in his full-time work as an official scorer / media relations person, says it does count against Aponte. Oh, that's true, because it counts as an error, or it's like one to the catcher.
You'll see that called when the catcher's glove clips a piece of the bat. It obstructs the path.
And kind of a tougher offer, I guess, just because in error, yeah, the idea there is that you're out, theoretically, if the play was made as it should be. But there, I mean, that could be in any count. It could be an 0-1 count. It could be a 2-2 count, a 3-2 count. Swing and a miss. Donovan fans Aponte, and his nice stretch continues out of the bullpen. 1-2-3 Breeze in the 6th inning for his Beavers team here. Well, here's how you can win $250 and 4 tickets to the USPBL Championship game in September. You can text Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Again, that's Chevy Detroit to 555-888. You can visit ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for all the official rules of that contest. And with that, we'll have our Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers mascot race here today. They're out of the gate early. They're chomping at the bit to get going here on Father's Day. Maybe their fathers are in attendance. PD Pickup, look at that run to start things. This is a storming race here today. Bulleting their way to the third base side. PD Pickup in an outright battle. And Shelly Chevelle just able to squeak in about a wheel's length forward that time. And the other mascots having a bit more trouble finishing here. So if you're wondering, there is a new benchmark as to where the race stops. It used to be all the way from the left field gate to the first base dugout, which is a long haul. But now it's more of a sprint from the left field gate to around the third base bag. So there you go. Chevy Chevelle, your winner, your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers mascot race. And another pitching change here. It's Carson Ferry taking over on the mound for the Hoppers. Was talking to Shane McCaddy, the pitching coordinator here at the USPBL, about Carson the other day. They think there's a bit more velocity in this arm, and something when you talk to both Shane and Justin that they identify through DVS and just looking at a guy as well and how they release the ball is timing. And timing can, affect not only command and control, but velocity. That's something they've been working on pretty tightly with A.J. Coleman and the Beavers, and he's shown improvements in his strike throwing this year. Yeah. But, hand in hand, Shane also said they want him to be a little bit more consistent in the zone. So with that timing, as they continue to work on it, it's something that they think they're going to see pretty good results from this left-handed arm.
Left to you features the two-seam fastball, curveball, and changeup mix.
First pitch to Keyshawn Lynch is down low.
Jeremy noted the velocity averaging about 90 on that two-seamer, maxed out at about 92. So yeah, you'd like to see that get up a little more. However, he does have a really nice velocity range from the two-seam to the curve, which the curve is his second most prominent pitch. That'll go all the way down to 73, 72. So you're looking at around typically 70 miles per hour of velocity range between his two most prominent pitches.
Here's the 2-0 to Keyshawn. Fouled off. And when you're talking about already topping out at 92 and averaging 90, that's pretty significant for a prospect who's, number one, a lefty, which is always going to be a high-regarded tool to any baseball player. You already have the leg up certainly as a pitcher as well. 2-1, bust inside. And on top of that, a lefty that throws on average 90. If you can get that up to 92-ish, that could be a big thing. 3 1/3 innings for him thus far. He's allowed 3 earned runs, 2 walks to 9 strikeouts. Now the 3-1 in at 90.
We saw how effective the lefty Greg Lokinen was as the walk. And the free pass is given out there, but lefty Greg Lokinen for the Woolly Mammoths last night, he was locating his pitches very well. Not only have his strikeout numbers been high, but his walk numbers have been low. And when you combine that with the advantage of being a lefty facing mostly righties, value goes up.
Well, despite the Beavers trailing this whole contest, they have allowed the leadoff man to reach when batting 3 out of the 6 innings thus far. That usually leads to good things. Bender pops this one up, maybe broke his bat in the process as well. McConnell, easy play coming in for the first out.
It did kind of sound a bit like a broken bat there.
6 through 9 in the order, which we're in the middle of right now. Matthew Mercedes hitting 7th here today. Have had a rough go about versus Verbrugge, Pierce, and now Ferry, reaching just one time. It was a walk by Collier Rutledge back in the second. So some good things from all the arms used by the Hoppers so far here today. Verbrugge maybe would have preferred to stay out there a bit longer, as he had kind of one elongated inning in the third where he gave up his second run. But that curveball looked maybe the best we've seen it so far in that third inning. He got a pair of strikeouts looking on it.
Certainly was a fun pitch to watch for him. When you talk about pitching, as this...
Strike him out, throw him out, not quite, as Keyshawn Lynch scatters into second.
Good aggressive base running there. Narrowly avoided the out, but when you talk about pitching nowadays, not necessarily about establishing the fastball early on, but more so about establishing your best pitch early on, and that's what we saw Verbrugge do with the curve.
So nobody really realizing maybe what the count is here? And now Ed Campanella having a heated discussion with the base pass umpire. I thought Nathan Mercedes was out. Didn't we have a 1-2 count as well? Maybe I'm wrong. So I don't know what the discussion was. No, he is out. There it is. Beavers seem confused, but in the end, runner on second base with 2 outs, and Collier Rutledge will come to the dish. He had a walk back in the second inning. But anyway, getting back to kind of recapping this pitching here today, we talked about Verbrugge and what he did in his 3 innings of work, striking out 4 in total here today and giving up 2. Hayden Pierce with a 1-2-3 4th inning, allowed a leadoff single in the 5th, and then fanned the next 2 hitters he faced and got LeBoy to ground out. So he looked on point here tonight. Now Carson Ferry looking to strand the leadoff 3-1 walk here to start this 6th inning. Again, playing 7 innings here today, 7 innings on Sundays. That will be the regular rule here at the USPBL, with everything else expanding to 9, despite the doubleheaders at 6 each. 2-0, up and in. Fastball at 90 that time. Has he been about 91 right there? 3-0, up and in. So 2 walks to the 5th and now 8th place hitters of the Beavers here in the 6th. And Austin Shoemaker will look to break his 0-for-2 day with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, the walks hadn't been an issue for Ferry of late. Each of his last 2 appearances we didn't see a single walk. You have to go back to June 6th to find the last time prior to today that he walked a batter, and that was only one. So overall this season, the control has been good for Ferry. It's interesting to see things getting a bit sticky here with 2 outs. But a big opportunity again for the Beavers nonetheless. Even though it is 2 outs, with Shoemaker up to bat, he has done well in the batter's box of late.
Here's the 1-0. Down low, fastball at 89. He's topped out around 90 today on that fastball. Shoemaker has been pretty busy behind the plate himself here tonight. A lot of runners moving for both sides. 2-0. Took a bit off on the 2-seamer there at 88. That wind picking up just a bit, probably the most we've seen it here today, to right center field. The flag whipping a bit more, those trees and the leaves responding right behind it as well. 3-1 on Austin Shoemaker. If you submitted a picture to us using that hashtag USPBL dads, stick around. We'll put those up shortly on the screen. Now the 3-1. Outside, he walked him. The bases are now loaded quietly here in the 6th inning because of 3 walks. Ferry kind of breaking out of his trend of being one of the better walk-to-strikeout pitchers in the league thus far.
Consecutive free passes, and now Paul Nochi arises up out of the dugout. Any movement?
A little bit. Cook has started to throw. He was stretching earlier.
Adrian Cook is a guy who really brings in that high velocity out of the bullpen and can challenge hitters. A lot of his pitches are competitive pitches.
Ron Williams Jr. turning it back to the top of the lineup. Seems like he's been up a lot here today. Not just because he's the leadoff guy, but surprising to say that, and only seeing 2 runs on the Beavers side, but that could change right here in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch to Ron. Fastball at 89 off the plate outside. Singled and scored back in the 1st inning. Grounded out to Kreitzer over at first in the 3rd and singled in the 5th. So his 4th plate appearance and 1 for the first time in back-to-back innings here in the 5th and 6th. 2-0 low. It's Lynch on 3rd, Rutledge on 2nd, and Shoemaker over at 1st, all reaching because of the free passes here in the 6th inning against Carson Ferry, who came in for Hayden Pierce.
Obviously needs a strike here.
Doesn't get it, walks in a run, and now it's a 6-3 game. We've seen big runs be walked in the last couple days here in the USPBL. This one none different, and that's going to be the end of the leash for Carson Ferry. He faces 6 batters here in the 6th inning. That's it. They want the flamethrower and Adrian Cook to come in here in inning number 6. It's been warming for a decent chunk of time down there. And he will try to hold this game right now. He's been more the closer of late, but certainly a very important role here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Back with his numbers when we get back.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. Our founders were forged from tough times. People that believed that maybe, just maybe, if people helped people, we could all rise up together. For 80 years, that's what we've done. While we can't tell you what's going to happen, we can tell you we are going to make it through this together. And when the dust settles, we'll still be here. Just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team. And we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Adrian Cook about to make his 8th appearance out of the bullpen. He does have 3 saves. He could potentially get a 4-out save if that's what Paul Noce wants to do. And really looking at things here today, Carson Ferry, Adrian Cook, Hayden Pierce were the 4 arms available along with Ty Tracy. Not sure if they exactly want to use Tracy here today. But nonetheless, these are 3 of the arms that we thought we would see, and we've already seen them. We saw 1 batter outing the other day, a couple outings ago for Adrian, but I have a feeling if they can stretch it, they're going to try to make it 4 here. First pitch to Roy Verdejo is a slider in for strike 1. 5 walks to 6 strikeouts. Paul Noce has felt that he's been squeezed a couple times on calls that could have been strike 3. We saw him thrown out of the game trying to argue that case in the doubleheader last weekend. 0-1, another wipeout, breaking ball, 0-2.
Cook has the 4-seam fastball that has one of the higher average velocities that we've seen so far on the USPBL, shade under 94. Then the slider can come in at about 80, has a changeup at 87. So 3 different planes of break, 3 different velocities coming at you.
0-2, another one. Walking off the mound but didn't get the call.
It was close. It's been interesting to watch how home plate umpires have called the corners so far this season.
Paul Noce at the top of the step didn't have much of a reaction. Arms folded down there. Here's the 1-2 away. The fastball at 96. It's right where he's topped out at.
Yeah. I was going to say a shade higher than the max velocity that we have on our team reports today.
95.7 officially. Away. That one was 96.1, the one before that, obviously. Another slider, 3-2 on Roy Verdejo. No room at the end. A run has already been cashed in on a walk. Ron Williams Jr. getting credit for that RBI, plating the leadoff walk. Keyshawn Lynch. Ferry walked him and then got 2 straight outs and then walked 3 more. 3-2 on the corner for strike 3, and Verdejo saying the previous pitch was a ball in that same spot, maybe a few more inches in. Nonetheless, Cook gets himself a strikeout here in the 6th. Well, time to take a look at those photo submissions from the hashtag USPBL Dads here today. There's me and the baby.
Love it.
Mom and Dad and my wife Claire as well. There's the blue bat from J.D. Shoemaker saying he loves Austin Shoemaker's Father's Day theme bat. Awesome surprise when he zoomed in on the name. Very cool. Kelsey with her dad Dale at graduation. Hoppers fan. And Maddie Lemaster as well, sending one in. Good stuff. We thank everybody for submitting their photos here today. Big time happy Father's Day to everybody. Go celebrate. It's a nice day out there.
Beautiful day. Looks like
Malik Barrington will take over here for Charles Donovan. Forearms used for Ed Campanella so far here today. The backhand arms have done a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch how teams kind of, now with the 9-inning games as well, utilize their bullpens to try to bridge to your closer. We saw the Woolly Mammoths do that very well last night with Lokinen, and then he setting up the closer as well. So it's been fun to watch that thus far and see if Malik Barrington can keep his team alive here. Down to their final 3 outs in the bottom of the inning, but first things first is taking care of business and keeping it a 3-run game.
We weren't sure if we'd see Malik Barrington here today, but we've also seen this from a couple other guys. He's right in line here today for his bullpen. In terms of, usually for a starting pitcher, a bullpen means not on the mound per se, but in a league like this where arms are at a premium at times just because rosters are smaller, not wanting to carry too many guys so everybody can get their work. But a 1-inning outing, you'd think, for Malik Barrington just to get his pitches in, and if it gets out of control, you probably see him come out. But so far, so good. 12 1/3 innings pitched for him, 2 runs, just one of them earned, 6 walks to 14 strikeouts.
2-seam fastball, changeup, 4-seam slider, and curve that he'll utilize. 2-seam comes in about 28% of the time. So you get a mixture of the changeup and 4-seamer as well. The slider really has a variety of movement in his arsenal.
Fastball at 88 off the plate outside.
Difficult as a hitter to kind of guess what might be coming at you. I mean, with 2 strikes, he'll mix in a lot of the changeup, but also a lot of the slider. So it's tough now. You talk about adjusting to a starter, but adjusting to a pitcher out of the pen, who you might see different handedness from pitcher to pitcher. But also now that your timing, which we talked about, is being disrupted. Hitters count here, though, for Vaughn Jr.
Off speed in for strike 2.
It kind of looks like the changeup there.
Five innings the other day, punched out 7. 2-2 liner over the glove of Nafi Mercedes. Off the bat at 91 for Greg Vaughn Jr. And now Nick Kreitzer will try to break his 0 for 3 with 2 Ks here today.
The velocity off the bat of Vaughn Jr. has improved of late. Again, has a nice approach to right center, and that's what we saw there.
Yeah, definitely the last, I'd say, 10, 11 at-bats. You can tell the difference in the swing from Greg. Similar last year in terms of what we saw from him as well. Started to heat up as the season went on. The average exit velocities began to increase. Had one of the higher hard hit rates last year of Hoppers players. That's balls 95 miles an hour and above. Little pop fly could be trouble. It's going to sink, probably foul anyway. Wow, that could have been some major trouble as Greg Vaughn Jr. had to hesitate a bit. He was still around second base. Kreitzer probably at least gets to second. But all erased and back again. Drastic difference. 6 through 9 for the Hoppers here today. We talked about the Beavers' struggles there, though, but 4 RBIs, a run scored in general, and they've reached base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in 9 at-bats, or 12, I should say. 1-1, runner moving to second base. Gonna just sneak in. Keyshawn Lynch disagrees. 2-1 on Kreitzer now. This is the last thing that you want to see if you're the Beavers, starting to make some progress in that last half inning you felt with your at-bats. And now you have another go-ahead run at second base to try to put you up a few more, and they could just do that right here. Being waved around third is Greg Vaughn Jr. He's going to easily glide his way home. Scores his 6th run of the year, and it's 7-3 Diamond Hoppers off a nice, easy lift swing there from Kreitzer.
We see the line drive power from Kreitzer on display there to the gap. Had a bit of a frustrating start to this game, but felt like he was due for a hit and found it at 6'3", 245. He has the power and the strength to muscle one off the end of the bat and did so there.
His second double and 3rd RBI in a USPBL uniform. First pitch to De Los Santos, and he kind of started the run parade in the first. Bases clearing. Double to the left center field gap with the bases loaded. Plating Macano, Lopez Rios, and Aponte at that point. 1-0 slider in for strike one. Holds in an extra beat, the 1-1. Another nice breaking ball in for strike two. Single double to start this 7th inning. The Hoppers continuing to add to this lead progressively. 5 in the first, 1 in the third, and now 1 here in the 7th. The last 3 pitches of that at-bat, all breaking balls, and Barrington able to record his first strikeout here tonight.
We talked about the fact that the slider and the changeup are kind of the 2 most prominent put-away pitches. Over the last few days, we've seen righties having success against their right-handed counterparts by way of the pitches away, especially with 2 strikes and the slider effective there.
Six walks to 15 strikeouts now on the year for Malik. Stays with the breaking ball. The slider that time in for strike one. Rainey has been on base every time he's come to the plate today.
He's been impressive today, Jeremy. I was just going to say, we were looking to see a bit more out of him and maybe seeing the potential unleashed today in the Hoppers lineup, which could give them some nice depth moving forward.
Came into this game 1 for 12. Product from Adrian. 1-1 away. Adrian College, the Division III school here in the area. Kind of trending towards mid-Michigan in terms of where they're located. Hit .411 this year, his senior season. Here's the 2-1 outside. 3-1 on Gunnar Rainey. .411 with some pop. 19 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs. A walk to strikeout ratio right down the middle almost. 17 walks to 18 Ks.
Sorry, Jeremy.
No, swiped 7 bags as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, the all-time career hit leader at Adrian College.
And son of their longtime head coach as well. Been there 20-plus years. 3-1, bust him inside the fastball at 89. And the potentially long inning continues for Malik Barrington and the Beavers. And the wind picking up the most it has so far in this game. Playing out to right center field. These clouds covering Jimmy John's Field a bit more, but not providing much shade, at least for the players here today. Middle, all the way to the top half of the grandstands are kind of always covered in shade. That's the one good thing about this ballpark and how they designed it. One of the many good things that certainly gives a lot of access to these fans, gives them something to do just outside of the baseball game as well. These clouds are more spread apart, but plentiful, I guess, right now. The 1-0. Fastball at 90. There's some more additional action in the Beavers' pen. It's Cole Stanton, the last arm really available to them here today in the 7-inning contest. The 2-0. Popped him up into the short outfield. Keyshawn Lynch under it for the second out. That's a big second out for the Beavers, who are still trying to stay at least in reaching distance of this lead here. And Ben McConnell, the last shot to add on some runs.
That was a big out, Jeremy, as you noted there. Aberroots is a guy with some nice pull side power, so when he's just popping it up like that on shallow part of the infield, he didn't quite get the barrel on it the way he wanted to.
First pitch outside to Ben McConnell here. McConnell with a single in the first and a single in the third as well. 1-0. Poked a fastball at 88 back to the screen.
Connell's got a relatively square, simple stance, traditional stance. For his balance, pretty tall.
And went in for strike 2. I think we got to be thankful this was a day game here today, Jason. Look at
this. The radar, see, that's what it looked like yesterday around our initial predicted game time. And move through the area. But like you said, Jeremy, good thing that we are A-OK today for Father's Day.
There's a lot of red that's going to be in the Detroit area at around 7:30, and there's going to be more coming if it stays together. You just look at it. Illinois, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. It's all kind of going over the lake in the next 10 hours or so. That's why there's a 96% chance of thunderstorms this evening, according to weather.com. 1-2, shifted foul. Anything can happen, I guess, in this humid weather, and we've had a lot of it. So in that regard, it's pretty lucky that we haven't seen more rain here at the ballpark. I don't know what you guys did yesterday, but you broke the bubble, though.
You weren't here. That was the problem. I had a good sweat going earlier in this humid weather.
Did you throw some softy balls in the...
I was taught how to pitch today, but in softball fashion.
Oh, really?
So that was my activity today. So it wasn't the overhand delivery where you do the fast pitch, but I was learning kind of the underhand delivery.
How did that go?
It went fairly well. I had to get my footwork down.
1-2, little pop-up, might be trouble. It sure is, and he's safe. Ball gets by as well. They're going to send one runner around. That's Kreitzer who touches home plate. Rainey reaches third, and Ben McConnell stays at first.
It's been a frustrating sequence here for Barrington. That throw just wasn't quite on line and difficult for the first baseman to make the play. We'll see if there's a change coming here, but beginning to slip out of the grasp now of the Beavers. Again, we're only trailing by 3 entering this inning.
Cole Stanton, the last available arm, coming out of the bullpen now for Ed Campanella's team. So we saw Gidley to start, Cuevas to relieve first, Donovan after that, Barrington here, and now Cole Stanton midway through the 7th on the USPBL network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
The Carpet Guys give you warehouse direct pricing that will knock your socks off.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing.
Let the Carpet Guys bring the store to your door with prices that will knock your socks off. Be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
Cole Stanton takes over here in the 7th inning. Ben McConnell able to reach. We'll see what they rule that ball. Just kind of a pop-up over the head of Malik Barrington, who was still on the mound at that point, and landed behind him and in between Mercedes and McFarland, kind of in no man's land out there, which we have seen a number of balls go here today. PJ Gradowski guessing in our ear that it probably should have been a single and an error. I would go with that too. I mean, tough play for anybody to make. Looks like that's what they have going up with on the board here as well. So the 10th hit for the Hoppers and the first error officially of the ball game for the Beavers. And now Juan Lopez Rios trying to extend what's already been another good inning. 2 runs in off the leadoff single and double respectively. Breaking ball in for strike 1.
Lopez Rios has sneaky power for a relatively small frame. Good to see the relievers, though, getting up 0-1.
Blocked in the dirt by Shoemaker. Stanton, 4-seam. Slider curveball. Curveball used just 1% of the time thus far. 70% on the 4-seam. Slider 29, and curveball nearly 1.5%. On first motion, McConnell flies, and boy, they
He
don't
took
even
off.
give look at him. Maybe defensive indifference at this point here in the top of the 7th inning and 2 outs. Stanton's last appearance on the 12th, so that would have been last week. 1 inning, no walks, 1 strikeout. Golfed into the gap in left field. That's going to get down and score another run. Gunnar Rainey comes around, as that was a 2nd and 3rd situation. McConnell the 3rd, and now it's 9-3 Hoppers. It'll be interesting what they do pitching-wise. There is nobody warming. I guess it'll just be an opportunity for Adrian Cook to get some reps out there. Remember, it is, number 1, a developmental league, so he's the closer of sorts. I mean, they don't really name those type of they do and they don't, I guess. I mean, their roles certainly defined, but if a guy needs to get work in, you're probably going to see it more often here in the bottom of the 7th than you normally would if he's going to pitch in high-leverage situations all the time for you.
And now as this game begins to slip away as well, 9-3, top of the 7th here. Yesterday, just discussing some things with Willie Martin. Oftentimes you may have some scouts here that just might want to see a guy a bit more, and that way you want to work him in, which is where the 9-inning games come into play now as well.
Line to left, and I think Verdejo contemplated diving for that ball, but 2 in between as McConnell comes in to score. And now they'll bat around for the 2nd time here today in the 1st and in the 7th inning, where they have sent 9 batters to the plate. Well, if nothing else, the batting average on the team side is improving as well for these Hoppers here today.
I believe this is now the 2nd 10-run game we've seen so far. The first one was actually from the Beavers. It was that big 5 home run game that they had. Feels like a while ago now. This offensive skid has continued for them, but this game in particular is unlike what we've seen out of the Beavers overall in the season, because they're allowing this many runs, this many base runners. 2.81 ERA combined entering today.
0-1 on the ground. Nafi Mercedes going to turn it over to first, and they're finally out of what was another monster inning here in the 7th. They sent 9 to the plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits to go along with a walk. The big one, the double by Kreitzer to start it all off here in the 7th.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
USPBL standings brought to you by Scott's here today. The Unicorns with a 6-3 record. Everybody else really trying to get back into contention for that first spot. But there's a lot of ground to make up because you play these teams all summer long. So that gives the Beavers certainly the best of chance as it does anybody else above them currently, as Adrian Cook will see his first full inning of work here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, well, I noted coming into this game, Jeremy, just kind of hearkening back to the standings for a sec, that this would be a big one on both sides as we now head to the bottom of the 7th here. Birmingham was attempting to catch ground on the west side, but they'll slip back to a full 2 games behind the Woolly Mammoths, and on the east side of things. This is a big win for them to get up above 500 with Utica kind of struggling a bit over the last couple of games now. At 6-3 on the season, still the best record in the USPBL. However, that lead will go down to just a full game over Eastside. So interesting to see how things are, as you noted earlier, shaken out from a reliever standpoint, what do roles look like in lineups, what do bullpens look like in terms of order, who's the closer, who's the middle reliever, different roles playing out, and also how teams are fixing out in the standings.
Is that the slider?
Appeared as though. We'll see what.
Maybe the fastball, according to what the or the changeup. Go with the changeup here at 86. They do want that slider. Oh my goodness! The board registers 149. I think Cook's arm would have fell off. More accurately, on the flight scope, it says 94.4. That's the highest velocity we've seen on the scoreboard here. Maybe getting a bit hot, literally, as he dips back down to 87 on that one. But we talked about it earlier this week as well. You had a conversation with Justin Orenduff, I believe, about wanting that slider velocity to be a bit higher, averaging 81 right now. They'd love to see it around 84 on average. Haven't quite seen it, but they did mess with the grip. 1-2, fastball at 92, popped away.
When you think about a pitcher like, say, Jacob deGrom, Jeremy, and this is an extreme example, but his fastball, mentioned 3 different velocities. You can bring that in at about 100, right? Well, equate that here with Cook, who at this level, he's got probably the highest velocity we've seen so far, averaging out about 94. Then you have his slider. If you can crank that up to 84, compare that to Jacob deGrom. He's got a slider at about 90, right? So then you can drop down to 80, which is ridiculous, but you can, again, drop down to 80 with your breaking ball as well, Ken deGrom. So you think about that for Cook. Maybe he builds something to the equivalent to that where you have kind of 3 extreme velocities coming at the hitter, and I use the 90 in a sense where, you know, again, that slider at 90, that's ridiculous in comparison to a fastball at about 100. So ranking up, getting up the slider a bit to 84 could be very helpful.
1-2 is down low, 2-2 here on Travis McFarland. Single in the first, walk in the third, strikeout in the fifth. Has seen at least a 2-ball count each time. 2 3-ball counts and make it 3 now. Well, we told you, another reminder that, again, our league play starts on a Wednesday next week. Wednesday the 23rd. The Westside Woolly Mammoths take on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. 7:05 start. We'll be on the air at 6:50. 3-2. Couldn't hold up for strike 3. Second at bat in a row where he has struck out. Players a bit frustrated with that outside corner call here today. But Oldies night on Wednesday. That should be fun with the classic cars and the cool uniforms for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. You can check those out on social media, Facebook and Twitter, Instagram as well. 2 up and 2 down for Adrian Cook, and 3 up and 3 down in total in his outing so far here today.
This is the role you like to see him in. Obviously, as the closer here in the bottom of the 7th, will be a relatively easy save here. But yeah, it's been an interesting one today, as we have kind of haven't had many quick innings. So this would be a bit of an anomaly if he can wrap it up here with Keyshawn Lynch up to bat.
Just 1-1-2-3 inning for Hoppers pitching. That was in the 4th. And 1 for the Beavers as well, also in the 4th. That was the inning to be in and out at that point.
Just kind of a matter of getting some extra, I guess it appears as though it's all cosmetic now, so just getting some extra reps in at this point. And Lynch, we talked about the fact that that one was just off the corner. It's all about getting the reps, trying to hone your craft, and everyone here is an attempt to master their craft to move to the next level.
This could be one of the sharpest outings we've seen from Cook if he can end it right here. The 1-2 slapped its way to right center field, and Aponte is there to seal the deal. Big win for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here this afternoon, 10-3 over the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers in 7 here today. Jenna Rose will catch up with our player of the game and the AutoLab post-game show when we get back on the USPBL network.
Diamond hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline warming up the benches. Need a lesson? I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a diamond hopper fan, point 'em out. Ayy, fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out. Ayy, every time we score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing. Let's rock. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At FSBCares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBCares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at GetAscensionMichiganCare.com.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee.
With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us
Hey everyone,
today.
we're now joined by right-handed pitcher Andrew Verbugge, who is our Auto Lab player of the game. Andrew, you get the nod and you record your first professional career win. What does that mean to you to have this accomplishment so early in the season?
It's really awesome to be out here and just get a win and just have success out here. A lot of hard work goes into it, and really excited to be out here and just go out there, have fun, and do my best, and that's all I can do.
4 strikeouts through 3 innings of work, saw 2 runs cross the plate. What was working in your arsenal today on the mound?
The curveball was really working today. It was really flipping that over for strikes, especially early in the count, and really good to have that in there, especially with the fastball. And not too many changeups today, but it did the job, so we're all good.
Yeah, no, you exactly did the job, and we have to talk about that run support. Looking behind you, I mean, 10 runs were up on the board. What does it mean to you as a pitcher to have that offense back you up in a game?
Yeah, especially right in the first inning, it's awesome to get an early lead. You kind of get to relax a little bit out there. You know, you don't have to be too perfect, and just be able to kind of coast out there, get the job done, and yeah, get the win.
And finally, when we look at the Beavers, you know, they haven't been producing that much offensively lately, but we know earlier in the season they had 5 home runs in one game. So you know that there are some power in that bat. So what was your mentality heading into this one?
For sure, just keep them off balance, especially with the off speed, kind of flip it in when they may not expect it, and yeah, just hope for the best and have fun out there.
And finally, it is Father's Day, so what does it mean to you to have your father in attendance for this win?
It's awesome to have my father here. He's a great support along with my mother, but always having their support is awesome, and I'm happy that they could be here today.
Well, Andrew, great work, and thank you for your time. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We'll see you next time.